Let's go.
How we doing?
Heyo, we are live, sirs. We are
We're back.
live.
Give the stream a couple seconds here to get
Um,
trickled in, and then we can introduce our guest and start chatting.
Let's do it.
Donnelly, you're not on camera.
I'm
Let's spray
on
him.
the stream.
We're live. We're live. We're live. Let's get it.
This has been a long time, man.
Come
This is
check it out.
crazy.
I know.
Damn.
Yeah, everybody's gonna probably take a minute to like do social media shit, and while we like let people trickle in. So feel free to do that. Wait,
Yeah,
what
I
do you
need a
mean? Oh,
water.
you're not one of the. You're not one of the.
I
Wait, let me
can't.
look at
I
it. It'll
can't
just make more
use
sense
my
if I look at
camera
it.
in two programs, brother.
Got it. Oh, okay. I see how. I see it. I see it.
You can use mics in any amount
I
of
know what he's
program,
talking
but you
about.
can't use a camera in both. So I'm gonna just.
What are we drinking tonight, fellas?
Iced
I
tea
got
for your
water
boy.
currently.
All right. Bud Light Seltzer. Let's get it. Cheers. Not a fan of that, but let's do it anyway.
Hey.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
Oh,
have to
and
take a
then so
loss, guy.
Gary, the tweet was a high school football player rushed a school shooter and sacrificed his own life to save his classmates in that school shooting yesterday. I guess Keith Olbermann retweets it and said, "This kid died to stop a school shooter whose mother echoed the Trumpist fascism of Stool Presidente and Barstool Sports."
Are they
What?
Trumpy fascists?
Hey,
Oh boy.
don't tweet
Is that not true?
I'm literally begging you not to.
That's the worst tweet maybe I've ever seen. Portnoy responded and said, "What the fuck is wrong
Is that
with
not
you?"
true?
That's incredible.
That's
Is
so
that is
bad.
that falsified
Holy
Like-
information?
Yeah, wow.
Like they're not
Bad.
Trumpy. Like I mean, Dave is definitely like a conservative, but he's not like a Trumpist at all.
Portnoy?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the most like massive Barstool sports fan. I think the stuff they post is funny. I'm not like a huge fan of Dave, but I mean, don't tweet that. No matter,
No,
literally
correct.
no
That's
matter
what I'm
what.
saying.
Literally
no
no matter
circumstance-
what. Don't
There's no
tweet that.
circumstance where you think that's a good idea. Like what?
No.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean,
Atrocious
that's like
idea.
all time bad.
So, Mark, you want to introduce our guest
Yeah.
here, since he's your close friend?
Yeah, so let's do that. So kind of do like a State of the Union type deal, I guess, to
Yeah,
start
yeah.
too.
We're the union.
I get down with that.
Yeah,
We're back. Hiatus
so
over.
we're back. So we'll start with some updates. So first of all, Clark is with us today. Clark is my good friend from college. He and I are in the same class. We played football together at Butler, and our friendship has honestly
They were on the
like
football team together
we're
at
probably-
Butler.
right, and we're probably closer now than we were then. I mean,
100%.
you know what
yeah.
I mean? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
I mean, we definitely got closer. Like honestly, after you were done with football, we started to get even closer. But and like it just started.
Yeah.
So we're good friends. Obviously now we were friends then too. But the reason we have Clark on today, Clark is like definitely my biggest like hustler friend. He's kind of like if there's a way to make money, he's the first to jump on it in like any horizontal that he can find.
Basically, he's smarter than all of us. So
Yeah,
he's here.
I don't know about that.
well, he's certainly not risk averse financially. So he definitely takes big leaps, and a lot of the times, or I would say most of the time, it's really worked out for you, Clark.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's Clark. So we're gonna talk about some stuff he's doing. Basically, like the best way to describe it, in my opinion, you can chime in on this, Clark, to start. But before we kind of go back, we'll backtrack and talk about where we've been, what's been going on. But it's just like kind of talking about, I guess, like financial freedom, and like the ability to kind of like, I guess the term is passive income, but create, lanes for yourself that you can make money without like having a boss, or you can be in charge yourself, be your own boss type deal. That'll kind of be like a bunch of topics that all kind of funnel into that core value, I guess, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like everything I pretty much do, and like I won't dive too deep into it now, but like pretty much everything I do is outside of like the 9 to 5. Like no one's telling me to do it. No one really taught me how to do it. Like I learned it on YouTube, or I saw someone doing it and Googled it myself. But like as I'll kind of get into, pretty much any way that you think like someone's made money or you've seen it made money on Instagram or TikTok or anything? Like I've probably at least tried it, if not had minimal success in it. So I could talk about a million things. I'm sure we will on here, but yeah, it's basically what I do when I'm not working in my 9 to 5. Is just find weird shit like that to make money doing.
Right. So yeah, so that's why we have Clark today. He's got a pretty good social media presence, so we're hoping him kind of like promoting this will drive some of the numbers up, and then kind of in like a de facto way he'll be able to use this to promote himself, on his socials with the clips and rips or whatever you want to do with it, Clark. So yeah, that's Clark.
Yeah.
So that's the guest. For those of you who like know that it's usually just the three of us. So for us three, we should probably just kind of talk about what's been going
Matt
on with
Hawkins
us.
says elite, by the way.
So hell yeah. So basically, the the I mean, where do we start? Like the podcast went on hiatus.
I'm sorry, I'm coming down with a cold.
Like prior to what's been going on with me, we took a hiatus from the podcast. At first, we were having tech issues. We kind of thought about returning, and then like Donley got a job at night, and that was like making it difficult because me and Kyle work like like typical 9 to
That
5.
made it
Donley was working at
impossible.
evening.
There was no such
Um,
thing as casting anymore when Downey was
no,
working at
especially
night.
with the
So
goofy
Yeah.
like get my schedule on Sunday life that I was on.
yeah, that never
That
was
was great,
working at
wasn't
all.
it?
Yeah, so we couldn't find any consistency,
Terrible.
and then because of the lack of consistency, we just like we didn't want to be inconsistent. We'd rather just be
Not, yeah,
like just kind of like shelf
Non
it, I guess.
Non-existent.
non-existent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then in between then and now, I've also moved. So I live in Florida now.
Unfortunately.
Which
Rest in peace, Florida man.
yeah, so I'm a Florida man in the making. I'm currently in Tampa. I'm going to be moving to the Panhandle in Pensacola. Hopefully in the next couple of months here permanently, but that also drove that kind of like once I moved, I've been super fucking busy. I've been working like 120-hour pay periods. It's been hard to find the time to do this, but I kind of have settled in, so to speak. So we kind of we're taking another approach at it. Obviously, before we were doing it where we were all not in the same room, but we were in Donley's studio. So like he was in the studio record like room, we were in
We
the
did it all in
recording
the same
room.
room for a little while.
So we were basically yeah.
Yeah.
So we've done it. We've done it both ways, but
That was
yeah.
Here we
fun.
are
So
long
that's
distance.
basically yeah. So now we're trying the media thing. So we're gonna work on the sound. We're gonna work on
This
you
will
know
probably
kind of
be
playing it by
easier
ear.
So
than
here-
when we even
he-
did in the studio. Like our sound and everything is
Here's
Yeah.
a
going to be
question:
way more
do I
foolproof. What's
pause
up?
the conversation when I get hit with an ad break?
No, like, well, just like
Probably
we
not.
need
I
to,
don't know.
we need
Acknowledge
to
it?
like let it be known, and then like be like, just use your Prime sub because most of you that we're watching probably have it, so you don't have
So
to do
we're
that. We'll chill, like
currently in an
we'll
ad.
chill, but we won't go rodeo style. Oh, we're in an ad right
Yes,
this
we got a
second.
minute left.
Are we?
Okay.
There's always an ad right
Oh.
at the
Okay,
beginning.
so yeah, so we'll jump into it after
Alright.
the ad. So, but yeah, basically, like if you're listening right now, that means you're a sub. So Hawk, I know you can hear it. I don't know if anybody else is, but yeah, I'm gonna keep shooting this link out if you guys want to talk about what's been going on with you guys, Donnelly and Kyle.
All I was really going to say was that the podcast was a roller coaster to say when we were doing it before. I honestly had more people than I thought like reach out and say, "Hey, like what's going on with the podcast?"
Here it
And
is. We're back.
I was like, yeah, like I was happy about that. I was like, "Oh man, like I'm surprised like people even like actually cared like enough to be like, "Hey, like where's it at?" But I mean, honestly, I feel like the real driving force, like besides like what Gears was saying, we were having technical issues there for a while. We got those cleared up, and then Gears is like, yeah, so like I'm moving, so that kind of put a damper on things to really try to like really get going again, because then we knew we were gonna have to change format pretty quick after he moved. So I mean, yeah, long story short, I'm still doing the same thing. Obviously, a little plug to my Tuesday night stream. I'm pretty much gonna be streaming every Tuesday night at 7:30. I'll be streaming games. I usually like to start out with Gears. Last night I got torn up on Halo, so it wasn't a great night for me. But I'm gonna usually be streaming just whatever like games, like whatever new games are out. I'll try to stream those. Vanguard. I haven't played it on stream yet. I just bought it, so I'll be playing that. Halo, Gears. I definitely want to do some Apex here in the future. I'm decent at it, so I want to get better before I really try to play. But yeah, I'm gonna be streaming games on Tuesday nights, and I'm just working, doing my thing right now. And there's my cat, but we're good. We're ready to go. I mean, Donnelly, what about you,
So
bro? What are
here's
you
what
up
I'm
to?
currently doing. I'm looking to see if I can change. Here we go. I can change the ad density. There.
Oh, like how
Oh yeah, you
many?
should be able to do that.
We can make them shorter, and um, cool.
And a quick shout out to anyone who's in here already. You're probably our most loyal followers, so thank you for
Yeah, we
popping in
appreciate that.
on our return
I
stream
just,
here. We
I
definitely
did
appreciate it.
just indeed change the ad settings, so the ads should be less now for the channel.
For sure.
We've
Sweet.
got 25 minutes until the next ad starts, and they would usually run in like every 10 minutes, and it should be 25 minutes and then an hour after that one. So we should be good on the ad
For
life.
sure. What kind of? I mean, obviously, I know we're just kind of let the conversation flow, but what are we thinking? Are we thinking like we're going for like an hour tonight, or what, boys? Like, are we just kind of
Yeah,
gonna go
we'll
for it
just
and see what
chat.
I
Like,
happens?
I mean,
figured.
I definitely want to give a few shout outs right here at the beginning. We've got a lot of follows that came in yesterday that I don't know when these all came in, but you might have given shouts yesterday, Kyle, but I want to re-shout out.
Oh yeah,
Um,
no, give some shout outs, man. It's hard when I'm playing and trying to chat
just
and do everything.
Yeah.
I see four follows yesterday, one 27 minutes ago, and one like just now. We got Run to Tricky just followed us. We appreciate that. He says get after. Well, they say get after
Hey,
it, Gary. They obviously
let's
know you are
go,
from Gary.
Gary.
Appreciate that. We've got we've got Ina Pets 333 following, and we got Hi, my name is Walt following. We got my dog Lewis following. We got Paco 6
Oh,
following,
what up,
and
Walt?
we got B
I know who
Swizzle
that is.
88 following. Yes, sir.
What up, Lewis?
Thank you for
What's
all the
up,
follows. We
everyone?
are at 81 followers now, which is pretty cool. I like to
Let's
see that.
go.
We appreciate it big time. I just
Big
you know
appreciation.
we wouldn't be around doing this if there weren't people following and watching. So the 13 of you that are here this early, we
Yeah.
appreciate you 1,000%. And if you're one of the 81 followers, and if you're definitely one of the 7 subscribers, you're a fucking super real one.
I see 19 live right now.
It takes a second to
Yeah,
log
update.
in.
I just saw 20.
Yeah. So
Let's go. What's up,
also something about
everybody?
just something about the channel. I guess we should mention at the beginning. Do the whole like and subscribe thing, but we have got an affiliate. Donley finished it. We
Yup.
were at the follower threshold, so Donley got
Yeah,
us
so
to the average
basically,
viewers.
I can chime in with my
And,
quick life story before we actually get rolling. Like
yeah.
it's quick because I don't do
Oh, for
much. But
sure.
after the cast ended, I ended up quitting my job bartending. And I've
Rest
been
in
trying
peace.
to stream almost full time, and that hasn't been like totally working out. But I do stream quite a bit. Somebody in chat, I know who it is. I don't know if I should drop names, but said nice Sperry G Gears.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
Pretty
yeah.
decent. It's decent.
But I quit my job bartending, and I've been doing a lot of streaming. You can catch me basically every night or every day streaming. Now that Gears and Kyle here are on a nice schedule, I don't have to stream so much, but I do a lot of streaming on this channel. And if you've been watching me, I appreciate it. Hey, we got Alisma19 following right now. I appreciate that for sure.
Let's
But yeah,
go.
like I said, I'm trying to
Oh
trying to
yeah.
do the streaming thing. I play a lot of games. I play a variety of games. I appreciate you if you're watching that, and that's pretty much all I gotta say. Matt Hiron, I said doo. I probably did. I don't do a lot, and I probably said doo at least twice. At least twice. So here we are, rocking and
Jesus.
rolling. Like we said, we've got Clark Gary Biz here on the podcast. He is uh, a savant of young businessman life. Um,
Yes. Let's
Yeah,
Something
so
like
go.
that.
Clark, give a little bit of a background, I guess, in terms of like we kind of talked about this yesterday in the when we kind of did our little pre-meeting, but
Mhm.
give the audience or kind of give them a rundown of like, what you started doing and like what all of the progression you've made and any background you want to talk about like school or work or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. So, just so I went to 4-year university. for the people that didn't see the intro, I went to college with Gears at Butler, played football there for 3 years, quit after the third year, graduated, and it would have been not too long after I graduated. So it would have been fall of 2018. I started seeing on Twitter like this reselling group that I would see them like posting screenshots of like people making $1,000 of like a coin they resold or just like some insane stuff like that. And I was like, oh, how do I get into this? Come to find out, like they only open up spots once a month, and you have to like kind of like be lucky to get in. So I waited. I turned on notifications. Luckily, first time around, I got in. So I started joining the group, and pretty much like it was a huge learning curve. It was a big Discord chat, basically. Which, if anyone's watching doesn't know what that is, like there's just like a million different, like basically different text channels. They had ones for like sports betting, for like flipping game consoles, for flipping like coins, like anything you could think of. So I was like, oh wow, like there's a lot of money to be made in this stuff. Started reselling stuff from there. Within the first probably 4 months, 5 months of doing that, like I'd probably made 7 to 8 grand in less than 40 hours of work. Like pretty much I would buy this stuff and list it on Facebook Marketplace or eBay, and it would be gone within the hour, almost pretty much every time within the hour or the day. And like people would come to me to pick it up, or I'd go and ship it on eBay. So like that was just random stuff. So I got like a literally like US Mint coin that you could buy on the US Mint website for $75 and sold it for $1,100 the day I got it in my hand. Like I got like pairs of like Travis Scott shoes, off-white shoes, like literally like foam teddy bears I bought for $300 and resold for $800. Like anything you could think of. So I was like, all right, like this is fun, like, and these are cool. And like you have to really be dedicated to be looking in the Discord chat, like seeing, like having your notifications set up properly. So I was like, all right, what can I do to get like more passive income? And at the time, like I had been dating someone, we broke up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and like work on getting my own place now. Like I live with my parents at this point, so I went ahead and bought a house. I closed on the house January 2020, so right before everything happened with the world and it shut down. Three of my buddies lived there with me, and I was living for free and making $300 profit a month living there. And I bought the house for $205,000. Ended up 18 months later selling the house for $325,000. Now, part of that, my parents went in with me because they went. My parents have always like been good with money and whatnot, but they're like strict, like 9 to 5, very conservative in how they make their money, like not risk averse. They're very risk averse, like opposite of me. Like I want to do everything other than a 9 to 5 to make my money. So like I didn't have really any guidance or anything. So I did that with the first house. I'm in my second house now where I'm house hacking. I pay $200 a month to live in here in a house that's 3,200 square feet. It would cost a normal person $2,300 to live here a month. So I mean, I'm basically saving myself 2 grand a month, and on top of that, I also have two Teslas. I just got a Model Y literally today, and then I've had a Model 3 for 5 months, and I rent that out basically like an Airbnb type model. So people come in for vacation, work, they want to test drive the car for more than 30 minutes at the Tesla dealership. They come to this app called Turo. They rent the car. I've made $8,000 just from the Tesla Model 3 in 5 months, and I'll be listing the Tesla Model Y. I listed it today. And they'll start renting out as soon as someone books it. So I'm looking to hopefully clear, I would say, $2,000 a month profit from that. So realistically, like I could be at a situation, I think it's super realistic that literally two Teslas and living in this house cover every living expense I have for the month. And like I could just set aside all my 9 to 5 and additional income after that if I wanted to. So
So you kind of started. I feel like you kind of started post college, which
yep,
but honestly, even before that, I mean, you were like we talked about it last night. You were doing the Madden coin thing, so you
yeah,
were selling like digital currency, I guess is the best way to describe it.
yep,
So
Addicted
digital
to
currency for
Madden.
cash, yeah. And then you also did the e-commerce, the website for the jerseys, which I know we dog you on, but like
Yeah.
you were doing things prior to this too. So
Yeah,
you've
and
always kind of just been looking for ways to make money.
yeah, like in college, like I would like because we lived in right outside of Indianapolis, pretty decently sized city, and this was back in the day where Uber would do a multiplier when it was really busy versus like just giving you an extra $5. So I would intentionally like log on and drive Uber at like 1 a.m. on a Saturday if I hadn't gone out or whatever, because I knew there was gonna be a 3 times multiplier. And in an app, like I remember one time specifically, there was snow and it was late at night, and a 45-minute trip made me $180. And I was like,
Right.
dude,
Yeah, the
I
Uber
was
thing
like,
too.
A no
I
brainer.
was so
That's
yeah, I
crazy.
was like, this
How
is.
long did
I
you
was
drive Uber for? Like I have a bunch of questions to ask you, but how long did you drive Uber for?
I did it for 3 months at the end of college, and that was around the time I did the e-commerce website with, and that started doing really well. But I ended up shutting it down just for a multitude of reasons that we don't need to dive into. But we ended up I ended up
It's
shutting
okay.
that
That's
down.
okay.
It may or
And
may not have been fraudulent, but it
yeah,
was
I
it
wasn't
was a
like
hustle. But I mean, it was like your first one, so we
yeah.
didn't really know what you were doing. So I mean, we like to make fun of you because we are in the know about it. But like it was, I mean, you can't knock somebody for giving it a go. Like you
Can't knock
did.
someone for
So
trying.
yeah,
Yeah, and it made good money, but like it's not allowed. Basically, what I came to
Yeah.
find out, which I had a suspicion, but I wasn't 100% sure because I knew people that did it. Like I knew tons of websites that were similar, but so I stopped doing that. So I did Uber for 3 months then, and then I did Uber for 3 months when before I started working, and then not this most recent summer, but the one before. I actually like would randomly do Uber all the time up until I actually got not 100% confirmed, but I'm 99% positive that I got COVID from someone who was in my car, like without a
Ah.
mask. Like I was down in like Blue Island, Illinois, like deep south side of Chicago. Like
Yep.
no one was wearing masks. Like I would pick these people up and they would be like 20 people deep, like just standing around, like talking to each other, like coming out of the house. Like, and this was like the peak of it. Like they would get in the mat, and so like, and then like the next day,
That's some
like I
sketch
got
shit.
super sick, and then I was just like, all right, I'm done doing this. So I did a little bit of Uber Eats after that, just because like,
Mm,
especially once everything started happening in the world, like it's contactless. So I would just like sit in the car, listen to a podcast, listen to like a YouTube video I was trying to learn stuff about, and just deliver the food. And like I would pretty much just go back and forth between like this McDonald's right by my house and an apartment complex, and I would just do that for an hour. I'd be like, okay, I just paid for my food for like my eating out food for the rest of the week. So, but all that kind of led to me wanting to do stuff that's like I don't have, and like my biggest goal now is to be getting stuff going on where my time spent isn't like equivalent to how much money I'm making. Like I put in like the groundwork on like a digital product or like my YouTube channel or like Turo or real estate, and then like it just starts making money for me even when I'm not even thinking about it.
yeah. I
That's
mean
like my goal now, pretty much.
that's the ultimate goal. Like from what it seems like,
Yeah,
I mean, obviously from most people that I've talked to, and I mean if you're smart, the ultimate goal for pretty much everyone, unless you're like in some profession where it just doesn't work that way, everyone should just aspire to be their own boss basically. Like that's the
yeah,
groundwork of what you're saying. Like you basically are your own boss at all times, and if you're in
yep,
any way possible to get to that I feel like is the top tier goal, like being your own boss. Like
yeah,
if you do
100%.
that, you're free technically. Like you can do
Yeah,
anything you want and anything you desire, like you can attain it, which is insane.
yeah. It's insane. Like, and I say it all the time to, I say this jokingly to some of our buddies. JD is who I mostly talk to about because he played football with me in Gears as well. Has two houses right now. He's doing a similar thing to me. But I literally would just tell him, I'm like, listen, I really don't need much. Like, I need NFL Sunday ticket, I need NBA League Pass, and I need an attractive wife, someone I find attractive, and we're just hanging out at the house and we eat and chill. Like I do not need to spend a ton of money otherwise.
Right.
So like for me, like my living expenses are super low. Like the main thing I spend it on is eating out, and I'm trying to do less of that. So like my goal is before 2023 to be my own boss and like if I wanted to quit my job.
Right, like
I
quit your 9 to 5.
Yeah, and I like
Yeah,
my 9 to 5. I'm good at it. Like I know it at the back of my hand. The people I work with are chill. My hours are great. Like they know I do all this stuff. But like it's not like I hate my job, and so I'm fortunate in that sense. But it's more just like for myself, I just want to be able to like be doing my own thing.
right, 100%. Now I do have some questions
Yep.
regarding like going back on like your reselling days, I should say. I just
Yeah.
want your input. I want your expertise on
Yeah.
what do you think of this PlayStation 5 and Xbox
Oh.
reselling scalping market right now. Like don't get me wrong, like I see a lot of people actually stick up for all these scalpers and they're like, "Oh, well like they're just trying to make an honest living too, like this and that." But I feel like it
Yeah.
comes to a point where it's like, "All right, man, like you're buying 100 PS5s, they MSRP at 500, you're selling them for 13. Like this is getting a little out of hand." Like
Yeah.
I personally, I've been looking for a PS5 for about a year. I
Hmm.
recently, about probably 4 months ago, I stopped looking for one because I
Yep.
finally got my full PC built, and that was basically what it
Hmm.
came down to. Like one day, I was like, you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm sick of trying so hard and getting let down every time. So I just built a
Yeah.
PC. But like, I would still like to get one day. But yeah, I mean, at this point, it's just crazy. Like people are still having a hard time getting
And then
them, and
some people are
it's
sitting on
mind
Oh
blowing to
plenty of
yeah.
me.
them.
Oh yeah, and that's what like it's just like I said, it gets to the point where it's like, all right, bro, like enough is enough. Like, how many
Yeah.
PS5s do you need? Like, how many times are you gonna flip them for double what they're worth? Like,
Yeah.
what's your
Yeah.
opinion on that market right now?
So I unfortunately, I guess you could say,
Oh
I
no.
partook in the scalping.
Oh
I won't
no.
lie.
Oh, we have a
Um,
culprit right here in front of
yeah,
us.
but I was never in the situation, nor was I ever really trying to be in the situation where I had like 20. So like the most I ever had
That's
in my hand
fair.
at once was like one or two, and
That's
like
fair.
in the whole 6 month span, I maybe had like maybe 15 in total between the two of them. The real thing I flipped a lot, actually a lot more, was Nintendo Switches, but
Oh
those were
really?
more for like $60 profits.
Hmm.
Um,
Just quick
but
profits.
yeah, like the insane thing about those is, so I don't know if you guys, obviously everyone knows what Amazon is, but I have an Amazon Prime card, credit card, and you
Hmm.
get 5% back when you buy something. And this
Right.
is where I made a lot of money too, is so I buy a Nintendo Switch for $323. It would be off after tax and everything.
Yeah, like
So I get
MSRP.
5% back on that. I get 5% back on that, so I get $15 right there and some change, $16, right? And then I resell it for another $60, so I'm at $76 there. We'll just call it $80. I did that. I'm not exaggerating for the Nintendo Switches. Even if I was only going to make $20 resell, I would still buy it and do it. I would have to guess I had close to 30 to 40 Nintendo Switches. And
Sick.
just from the cash back alone, I made $500.
That's
So like
insane.
if I did if and then I made 40 to upwards of $100 when it first got popular. So like that's another thing that was really nice when I was reselling. Like in probably a year, I would think I probably get. I think the first year, like full year, me reselling, I got $2,300 worth of cash back just on my Amazon card.
Shit. But see, that's what like
So
what Gears is talking about though. Like that's like the simple shit that like a lot of people don't even think about. Like I have an Amazon
Yeah,
card. Like that's like stuff like anyone could do if you
yeah,
just know how to take
And have the
advantage
money
of
to
it.
put
Like
on
if you
there.
yeah.
take advantage of that, well, no, and that's the other thing. Like you have to have the capital. Like you have to have it up front to be able to
yeah,
make that many purchases. But like if you do, you're making free money like off something that is designed for everyone to use.
You're in a
yeah.
huge
Well,
moral gray area doing it, but like that, who am I to?
Well, I mean, it's not that bad. Like I feel
Let's
like
talk
that's
about that
not
really
that
quick.
bad
So
though.
here's my question, and Gary, you can take a crack at this, but the other two can too, because I kind of know how these two guys feel about it. So
yeah,
like when it comes to the shoe market is kind of it's like explicit in the fact that like the scarcity is intentional, right?
yep,
So like they've created this almost like black market or gray market or whatever you want to call it of
Almost like an
like
artificial scarcity, but
yeah,
it is
they've
and it
created the
isn't. Like
scarcity
yeah,
intentionally
it's
because they want
manufactured.
exactly
yeah,
because then they know no matter how many of the shoes they make, they'll always sell them out
Right.
basically.
yep,
But then it's like they always know there will be that many +1 that somebody will want to rebuy them. Like they're doing it on purpose. We know they are, right? So, but like
Yeah.
with the like the
Hey, I don't want to cut you
graphics
off, but I do
cards.
want to cut you off because we just got a gifted sub.
Let's
Oh,
go.
We got a
nice.
gifted sub.
Gift
Actually,
subs.
Pets
We
333
love those
gifted a
gift
sub.
subs.
That's fucking awesome.
It looks like it went to Mad Hiron. So but with like the graphics cards, and so these are the two that I'm aware of that at least itch me, I guess. The graphics
Graphics cards.
cards and the consoles, right?
I can't
Like
Yep.
stand the
who
consoles.
is it the fault? Is it the fault of the people who are like seizing the opportunity and being like, there's just not enough of these, plain and simple, and if I just grab them, somebody will want to buy them from me? Or is it
Mhm.
the fault of, like, can we say it's the fault of the manufacturers that are like, they're just not, they don't, why are they not making more of these
So
things?
so
Like,
with as far
there's
as
no
graphics
artificial
as graphics
scarcity.
cards and consoles go, like there is a literal shortage of supplies.
Yeah, I was gonna
Of
say there.
supply,
It's
of
not a
Yeah.
material.
manufactured. It's not a manufacturer scarcity with those. So at the beginning, don't get me wrong. Like we talked about this on the cast months ago, but at the beginning, I think everyone was kind of thinking, oh, like, is this a manufacturer
We
scarcity?
talked
Like,
about it.
could they be making more? Yeah, we literally talked
We
about it. But
did. We
like,
had a whole conversation about it
could there
right before Christmas.
could they have been making more? Yeah, literally like a year ago, this time probably. But we were like, could they be making more? And they're just not to push the sales, or are they physically, literally not able to make more? And I feel like at this point, we could easily say they're actually not able to make more because there's
Yeah.
like restocks like every, like 4 or 5 days. Like I have all the Twitter notifications on everything to track the restocks. And like the restocks, they started to like trickle in. Like first there would be one like every 2 weeks, and then
Mhm.
there's one like every week and a half, and now I'm seeing restocks for Switches, PS4s, or I'm not PS4s, PS5s, and the new Xbox is like, every 4 days it seems like there's a restock. So it's definitely getting quicker, but I
Yeah.
think it's safe to say it's not a manufactured scarcity. Like there is a shortage of materials to make these
Yeah.
100%.
I agree.
Yeah,
It's
so
Yeah.
I mean, there's material shortages all over the world. Like I'm dealing with it in my personal professional industry too, with the solar panel. Like there's a huge issue with solar. Like cars are obviously having issues because of like
Chips.
computer
There's
stuff.
there's a
Yeah,
there's a
silicon
computer chip
shortage,
that's made
right?
in China, Taiwan.
yeah,
There's a couple different places where it's like a chip that is used in the PCM of the
yeah.
cars that
And it's no
is a
different than the,
shortage.
yeah. There's just a bunch of shit, like you can't fucking buy like refrigerators right now. Like there's a bunch of random shit that you,
Furniture,
or water heaters.
furniture.
Yeah.
Try to go buy a
Um.
couch. Let them tell you how
Right.
long it's gonna be out. My
Yeah.
grandparents and my mom, they tried to buy a furniture set. They said 18 months. Like what?
Wow.
Right. But like
No,
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying
It's
is,
insane.
is it? But that's what I'm saying is like, why is it really the fault? Like, what? Why aren't okay? So that's actually a good example, Kyle. So if you go to a furniture store, they don't just tell you
Bob's,
we don't have it. They tell you it's gonna be this long until we can get you one. That's what
right?
we do at work
Yeah,
too, right? Somebody calls and says they
somebody just
want solar
chatted
panels.
before we get off this topic. Somebody just chatted something that I want to talk about.
No, no, for sure, for
Uh,
sure. Do what you know who said.
um, n-
Neutral. It's funny where he says it's funny against people.
no, I mean, there's that. He said it's funny because people would complain about the scalpers, but they could be doing literally the same thing, get the product they're pissed about. But that's not necessarily true. Like, but
But that's what I mean. Like I want to talk about that because like
Well,
I
some
don't think
people are
that's
using
the
so
case.
bots and
that's
stuff,
the
so
next
it's not
comment
always
here.
the
It says there's a
case.
new bill to ban
Yeah.
bot
Okay. Go
scalping,
ahead.
which is what I wanted to talk about. Oh, and we got to thank Matt Hawkins for
Okay.
gifting
Yeah.
a sub. Appreciate that.
Oh,
Oh, the
Appreciate
Oh,
B
thanks,
that.
Kyle.
bells. Let's go. What up? What up?
Um,
Oh, and Brandon got it,
Brandon
dog.
got it.
Yup. Oh yeah.
So we'll field some of these questions too in the chat because Aiden talked about something up here that I haven't
Yeah.
forgotten about, but we'll mention that too.
But we're talking about this scalping thing right now, and I wanted to talk about this bill because like I
Yeah, that's fair.
like could have started scalping at any point in my life. Gears, your camera just went black.
Mm-hmm.
Seegers.
Okay. Oh, there he is.
Sorry.
Basically,
You're
like
good.
my roommate, I don't want to drop names, was basically begging me to do it while I lived in Los Angeles, because like I could have just written my own bot. Like I didn't have to go through the struggles of finding a bot that works because like I have the technical know-how to just write one.
Like just
Yeah,
make your own bot.
and then
Just,
it comes
okay.
to the fact, like to the point of like,
Gary's eyes just lit up. Dom, you're gonna get a direct message to the DMs here shortly after this.
You're better than me, is all I'll say. You me. That's all I'll say.
Gary's like 50-50. He's typing it as we speak. 50-50 question mark.
Like,
90-10,
basically,
shit.
Yeah, I was about to say what 70-30?
basically, like I just never wanted to do it because I have signed up for hundreds of sneaker raffles, like the legitimate way to do it. And I've won 2 pairs of sneakers. Like,
Yeah, I think I'm probably nearing the 100 digit on that, and I think I've won 3 and like 2 legit ones. One of which is still sitting in my closet because I haven't been able to sell
what
them.
size are they?
For they will sell, but not the price I want. Like I could sell them,
They
but just
won't
not
sell.
for what?
They won't sell. They're too
Yeah,
big.
too goddamn big.
No, they will
This-
100% sell.
The sneakerhead sizes are 9, 9.5, 10, 10.5. That's about it.
That's not true.
It is true.
There's a huge buyer's market for
Yours would
big
sell, yeah.
sneakers.
Yours would
Yeah.
sell gears, but like you said, you have whatever price point you have. I never used I've never used a bot ever. That is the one thing I can't say. I've never used a bot of any kind. And I think sneakers, like the actual app, at least unless something's changed recently, like when I was into it, like there was
It's a
not like a
scam.
really working sneakers bot.
It's a
like-
scam.
Well,
So, like,
no, but
basically with-
you could if you had the
with Nike shoes specifically,
mine the
like,
raffles,
yeah,
right?
you can basically like
Yeah.
I don't want to
like every
I don't wanna
device you
say-
have, you can enter the raffle, so you increase your likelihood of winning the raffle if you've got 100 cell
No,
phones.
but you don't even
like,
need 100
you
cell
can have a
phones
$40
because
cell phone.
do you want me to explain exactly how you would do this? All right.
Yeah,
so
go ahead. Explain it for the
can get-
viewers, so they can start
can-
botting away.
I'm not gonna tell you
Yeah.
how to do this, but you can theoretically make
Theoretically, this is what you would
theoretically
do.
what you would do is make as many virtual machines on your computer as your computer can handle, and then you would have every single one of those pinging Nike sneakers and have the addresses be different addresses, and then you have to set every single one of those addresses to forward to your address because Nike will not allow a bunch of different addresses or one person shipping to the same address at a bunch of different chances. They can see all that shit and you get banned instantly. So you have to go through the effort
Right.
of every fake address that you make up, forward it to your real fucking address.
That's pretty
Yeah.
sick.
But that's
Yeah,
But
it's weird because
That's
like
wild.
how many to me the biggest thing is like I guess there's ways around this too, but like form of payment seems like a better filter to me. Like everybody only has so many like credit cards or debit cards or whatever. Like I know you can get like one use credit cards and debit cards too. So I guess that's probably like there's a loop around there too. But like just more and more barriers to entry seems to make the most
I
sense
just
to me.
hope
But
that this bot does get passed because like the
the
bot
bot
bill. I hope it gets passed not
The
only for
bot
the direct
bill.
effect that it's had to my life, but somebody else commented they said our new loyal viewer Ina Pets 333 with the gifted subs. They said it's wild what bot scalping did to real estate, and that's the real big thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I don't
that
know
was what
anything
Zillow-
about. I don't know anything about what bots have done to real estate. Is it bad? Is it, have they had an impact?
Zillow is
Yeah,
atrocious.
it's
Oh,
bad.
really?
Basically,
Zillow basically
Damn.
created their own bots to like prop up property value. I think on their
Oh,
website specifically,
no.
or just like in the
so
real
like
estate market.
what they would do
like overall,
was
right?
immediately buy houses and
What?
property at like 5% above the asking rate, and they would pay cash for it, and there would be no like it would be like their bots would have an instant like ping like this went for sale. Here's a cash offer for 5% more than what you put it up for. And then Zillow will immediately turn that
Yeah.
around and put that up for 5% more than what they paid for. I just made up those 5%
Right.
numbers,
Right.
but like you get the idea.
No, it's just
Yeah.
it's like bidding yourself
Yeah.
up at an auction. Like it's like having two people that are in on the same item. Like
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you're
Yeah.
just bidding it
It's a-
up, so like you can make the actual person that wants it pay way more than they should have. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have algorithms
They add
that say
themselves into a
an X
middleman
square
because
footage
they have the
house sells for
capital to
Y.
do it.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
messed up, bro.
Oh, what up,
That's
cousin?
So they
insane.
go, you go if
My cousin's
What was that,
in the
Dons?
chat. What up, cuz?
oh, Like you go, we know an X square footage house in this area typically sells for Y. If we buy it for Y minus, delta, we we make that profit as long as we sell it lower than the Y value. We like, if you do it a gazillion times, like statistically you're going to make money, and they've got infinite capital to do so. Like that's the dig. Like that's basically how they were able to make it work. Because they have information on every single zip code. They know what a house will sell for, like roughly based on the square footage, right? So that's how they can pull it off.
And the issue is, though, somehow still with all of that, their estimate is horrible, and they got in a bunch of trouble because they were trying to then flip these houses and whatnot, estimates and whatever. So what they would do, and someone correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure this is at least semi-accurate, is say there's a neighborhood with 100 houses, they'd go and try and buy 20 of those houses at 300,000, and then the 21st house they would buy at 310,000. So now all 20 houses before that are technically worth 310,000.
Yes, right.
And then they would just basically inflate the market from there. But the issue and why their stock has gone in the shitter is because all those houses at 300,000 actually should have been bought at 285,000.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, they artificially prop the market
screwed. Yeah.
Precisely.
So it's definitely dangerous.
It's scary, and like it's crazy that something that that in our lives, we can't get graphics cards and sneakers and clothes, and in like the real world, people are buying literal fucking property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so back to the PS4s the PS5s and the Xboxes and shit, like, or even to me the graphics cards is like, don't these companies have, like, wouldn't it be better instead of doing, let's say, like a raffle or like an instant drop or whatever these like bullshit things that they're doing
Raffles
to sell this
suck,
shit?
dude. I hate
raffles. Suck for the
They
sneakers
suck.
though. Like I said, I think
terrible.
sneakers, we can kind of peel sneakers out because we know it's an artificial scarcity. But like for the stuff that we know is like actual manufacturing scarcity, why aren't they like, why can't I just go to Sony.com and put in my fucking information and
that's
be
the
like,
one thing,
and
like,
then they'll send you one when they fucking have it.
Yeah, purchase. Exactly. That's my gripe.
I want to put my name on a list. I just want to put my name on a list,
like,
and then when my turn comes up, send me a fucking PS5.
Literally,
exactly.
I've been wondering this since
Sony
day
could
one.
collect bans by doing that too, because how many people right now, like let's say right now, Sony tweeted, "Hey, purchase a PS5, and the faster you purchase it, the faster it'll get to you." And how many people would immediately jump on it? Like limit it.
Oh,
it's literally
limited to one per address, and you're good to go. It would ruin retailers unless they allowed them to do that as well. Fuck retailers. Like I'm sick of them. Fuck them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and like, okay, let GameStop do it too. I don't care. That's fine. I don't give a fuck. But like, that's literally what Tesla's business model is, Gary. Right? Like, you literally go on the website. This is really the genius of it, because Sony could do it too.
But that's the thing, though. Sony Tesla lost my business because of that wait time. So like, there's also that.
Yeah, but
it's just however patient
I'm not patient.
What is it? It's 100.
But it comes down to however bad you want whatever product you're waiting for. Like, it's different for everyone. Like, if I want a PS5 bad enough to wait a year, then I would wait a year. Do I want one bad enough to wait a year? No. So I made a PC.
And that's the worked in grift of the model too, is like, if they were to do it like Tesla does, what's Tesla cost? It's like $250 now, right, to get your name on the list. So your reservation is non-refundable. So Sony could do the same thing.
It was like, make it okay when I did it.
Yeah, now it's
it's 100 for me. It's 250 now.
So, but I'm saying, like, if you did that for a PS5, even if they said it was a $10 reservation fee, right? First of all, you would probably dissuade some people if the list was long enough, which is inherently probably a good thing. But also, like, that's money right there. That's $10 in your pocket. Even if a year from now, when the product's available, you tell the person like, "Hey, we've got it," and they're like, "Never mind, I don't want it anymore." You just made $10 anyways for doing absolutely not. Like, it just seems like a logical thing for them to do instead of them doing like, doing what they're doing
Hey.
now, which is basically like, oh, we're gonna give Target
Aiden-
500 of these things to like
Aiden
release,
said it's
and then
kind of
you're
weird
done.
because Steam is doing it with their new Steam Deck at Cellar Media. Like I have mine pre-ordered. I have one pre-ordered too. Like you only had to put like $10 down, and the faster you put it down, the faster you get one. Like I am a little late because I fucked off for like 2 weeks, and I'm gonna get mine like 3 months later than everybody else.
But yeah,
Really?
so
It's just like a
Yeah.
waiting list.
So that's my theory is like I can't really knock anybody that's like, again, I won't ever really truly knock somebody that's trying to like make a quick buck, because I get it. I've been I've been there. So it's not, to me, I'll never fault the consumer in this situation, but like as a vendor or manufacturer, like you need to fucking pivot your model to like accommodate for the market, and they're not doing that. So it's, to me, it's their fault. That's basically what I was
That's
trying to
fair.
say.
I 100% agree with that.
But
Like
then
I
you
just
see,
think on the
go ahead.
basis. Go
Like,
ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, what you see what's going on like in China, and like every day I see another picture of a goddamn of like 300 3090s mining Bitcoin. Like it's like,
Right.
come on.
Which is an issue
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
It's insane. Yeah, something that is also wild, you just made me think of it, Gears. People are reselling Teslas because of that wait time.
Really?
Like
Yeah. Yeah. No.
my Model Y that I got today, I guarantee you, if when the dude dropped it off my house, I could have posted it somewhere, or I could have worked out when I said, "Hey, give me $4,000 and you can have this Tesla." Like, and you like figure out your loan or whatever, and I'll make $4,000. And people will do that. Like I've seen TikToks actually start to like blow up that are like, this is how you could make money. Put an order in for a Tesla, and 6 months from now, when you get it, you'll be able to resell it for 6,000. And the thing is, people like, if someone does that, they're risking $250, right? But like literally, you could get all the way to the week before your delivery, and Tesla gives you your VIN number. They say, hey, give us your proof of insurance and the down payment, and you're good to take delivery. If you can't find someone to do it, you just go, no, I don't want it anymore, and you just lose the 250. Like that's the max you can lose.
Yep.
So like I know for a fact, like people are doing that right now.
Not
I
only
personally
that, but you can also sell, I'm pretty sure my brother was telling me, I don't know if this still holds true, but if you have a Tesla that's like a new Tesla, so I guess now would be a 2022, you can sell it by owner, and it's worth more than what you purchased it for currently, because of the wait times that Donnie was talking about. Like if somebody wants a Tesla right now, and they want to buy it in cash, like they'll buy your Tesla for whatever X% more than its MSRP, because that to avoid the wait list. Like that's crazy.
Any of that?
My Model 3.
I'm turning my fan off. I can still talk.
Go ahead, Clark.
My Model 3 with 10,000 miles on it, I got it for 44,000 all in, all taxes and everything. It's a 2021. I was looking around because I was thinking about selling my Model 3 to buy the Model Y, and people are selling them for $48,000.
Yeah.
So like $4 to $5 grand more than
like paid for it
than what I bought it for, and that's with 10,000 miles.
So like I can speak on this right now, just like you can, because you just got a Tesla. But this is just with obviously not a Tesla. So right now, like I'm always kind of like in the auto market one way or another. Like
what'd you do today,
I
Kyle?
worked at a deal. Yeah, so like that's why it's crazy. Like literally, so excuse me, I worked at a Chrysler dealership for 2 years. So that kind of got my feet wet into like the whole behind the scenes of what goes on in the car industry, at car dealerships, sales, service. I specifically work in the service department. I now work at a John Deere and Polaris dealership in the service department. But it's crazy. So I had a Subaru WRX STI. It's like their high performance sedan WRX, and I loved it. I loved the car. It was super quirky. Like, not many people have them. You don't see them all over.
Like
they're
6
kind
times.
of like they're just relax. Just relax. All right, just well, I'm out of focus here. All right. Am I still out of focus?
Piece of shit webcam.
Hey, you have the same one, buddy. So just relax. All right. So long story short, there we go. Long story short, I traded my STI for a Mustang. Now, It's a very long story. I'm not really trying to expose myself here, but I will for the sake of being completely transparent. I got shafted pretty hard on my Mustang, and I just found out like probably about 4 to 5 months ago. So basically, what happened is I was in a really tight spot with my WRX STI because I just had a new engine put in it because the engine blew. I bought it with 42,000 miles on it, and at about 44.5, the engine said, "See you later." It took a dirt nap, and I took it to the dealership.
Jesus.
Yeah, like bro, I had it. I literally had the car for like 6 months, and the engine blew. But regardless, whoa, that's really bright. I took it to the dealership and I was super scared. I was like, there's no way they're ever going to cover this. Like, I'm definitely screwed. And they were like, nah, like, don't worry. We see this all the time. We'll replace your engine, everything under warranty. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah,
Holy shit.
if it wasn't covered under warranty, it was going to be like 13 to 14,000 worth of repairs. I was like, holy shit. So fast forward, got the engine swapped out, went and picked up the car. Like a week later, it was completely no oil in the car. It was like on a tiny bit of oil. I'm like, yo, this is a new engine. Like, why is there no oil in the car? They're like, oh, that's
Yeah.
normal. Just fill it up and drive it for a couple weeks and let me know what happens. I'm like, what? No. So instantly I'm
Yeah.
like Googling. I'm like, all right, I need to find another car. And I'd always wanted a Mustang. I always wanted a Mustang GT. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go find a Mustang. So I go find a Mustang at a dealership in Downers Grove. I won't disclose exactly who it was because they fucked me.
Tell no wait,
I
disclose.
get in
Say,
there.
throw him under the bus.
All right.
Fuck
Expose
him.
him.
Packy Web Ford in Downers Grove. It's a giant Ford dealership right off Ogden. It's literally right down the street from like a
Yeah,
Lamborghini
fuck those
dealership, a Porsche
motherfuckers.
dealership.
Yeah.
It's in a big fucking area with all these dealerships on one road. Long story short, I go in there. I'm like, hey, I want this Mustang you got out here. I pretty much was willing to pay whatever for it at that point because I was like, I need to get out of this STI. I can't go any longer with this car.
Hmm.
They're like, all right, here you go. They gave me all the numbers, this and that, went back and forth. We decided on numbers. It was going to end up being around like $28,000. I thought it was pretty cheap. Like that should have been my red flag. So the car was a
Yeah.
2015. It had 22,000 like 300 something miles. The miles were pretty low and it was in pretty nice shape. They're like, "Oh yeah, it's a California car. We picked it up on an auction out of California. Super clean car." And I was like, "Yeah, like I was thinking about it. It was like the lowest price Mustang I could find." So
Hmm.
everything ended up happening. I flipped in the keys for my WRX, took the Mustang, went on my way. Well, now with this crazy car market, which is what I'm trying to bring this around to, used cars are selling for insane prices. Like any used
Oh
car,
yeah.
because new cars are so hard to come by. So if you can get a used car and flip it to a dealership, they want it because they just want something to put on their showroom floor. Like they can't get anything. So I was
Yeah.
looking around for a Mustang because I wanted to get a new Mustang, like a 2018 or 19,
Hmm.
automatic 10 speed. The 10 speed Mustangs are stupid fast. So I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm going to go trade my car, get an update. Went out to a dealership, ended up driving like an hour and a half out to Maryville, Indiana to an Infinity dealership that had this badass, all blacked out. It had fat tires on it. Like just beautifully modded Mustang. I'm like, all right, I need this Mustang. I drive
Yeah.
out there. The dude's like, "All right, man, your car looks really nice car. I'm thinking we're probably gonna be able to give you about 40,000." And I'm like, "Holy shit!" Like, cause I bought it for 28. I'm like, I'm about to walk out here up like 12 grand.
Yeah.
They go to the finance office. Dude comes back. He looks like he's just seen a ghost. I'm like, dude, what's wrong? Like, what? Is everything okay? He's like, all right, man, we got problems. I'm like, all right, what kind of problems do we got here? He's like, well, do you know about your title? I'm like, what about the title? What are you talking about? He's like, well, your title, it seems to be a branded title. I'm like, what? Like, okay, like what kind of title is on this brand like for the title? He says it's a buyback lemon. So this dealership in Downers Grove Packy Web, they did not disclose to me that it was a branded
Fuck you so
title,
hard.
and yeah, they completely bent me over. Um, so my car is basically the value is cut in half. So he was like, yeah, like if it wasn't a branded title, I give you 40 grand, 43 grand easy. Now that it is, I'll give you like 20,000. I was like, holy
Damn.
shit. So to get this
Damn.
story over with, right now I'm looking at another WRX STI. I really want to get in one. I was at the
Mhm.
dealership today and
Oh
it's
shit.
insane. Oh, can I explain what a branded title is? So a branded title is anything that is like a there could be a salvage title, it could be a rebuilt title, a buyback lemon. A buyback lemon is generally when there's something wrong with the car in a dealership in an appropriate amount of time. It's like a 90 days or it's some amount of time. If the dealership can't fix it and get it back to the customer, the actual manufacturer buys the car back. So Ford is like, hey, like we'll buy the car back, and then they try to fix it or just sit it back at the dealership, send it to auction, whatever the case may be. So
It's for if you know nothing about cars, sorry, not to cut you off, but
no, go ahead, go ahead.
a lemon in car terms is basically there's something wrong with the car, but like you wouldn't know it by looking at it or even maybe driving it.
Right.
Like yeah, there's like you can make a lemon have a golden path to not expose itself to a buyer. Or you can buy a lemon accidentally too. Like sometimes cars
Right.
are lemon without you knowing, but like you
Like
can
my
basically
car, for
yeah,
example.
right. So like it basically just means like there's something wrong with the car, but it's not apparent to a buyer or even maybe to
Exactly.
a seller. You can sell a lemon
So
unintentionally
like
as well.
what
So
Yeah.
that's what
So
what
lemon
probably
means in car
happened to Kyle's
terms.
car is that because it's a California car, it probably failed some sort of California emissions regulation and had
very
to go to a
possibly.
different state that didn't have such strict regulations, and that
Right.
fucks it
Right.
permanently. And yes, the
Exactly.
dealership
Because
knew that.
Which is ignorant. Which and
right.
honestly, Kyle, like I don't know, like if you've given this much thought or whatever, but you could probably still sell that car by owner, and like, and if you
Right.
sold it for cash, there's a good chance that the person bought it from you wouldn't know, just like you didn't know.
Well, my
Um,
only problem is I just can't do
Because now
that
you
morally.
know.
Like, because then I would be the
right,
scumbag. I would be the
yeah,
scumbag that didn't tell them that it has a brand and title. Because don't get me wrong, like I could be like, yeah, 30 grand, who wants it? And I'd probably sell it in 2 days.
right.
But then if they turn around and try to go to a dealership, like so, I'm trying to get to a specific point in the story. I'm very close. I'm right there. The
Let's tail
moral
on
of
this
the
now so we can
story
move on.
is that dealerships. I've talked about 5 dealerships, and most of them said, I won't take the car at all, or I'll give you very little money for the car. And where we're at in the car market today, it's insane. Going back to what you're talking about, how people flip Teslas, it's insane because the WRX STI that I just went and test drove, it's $39,000 and it's a 2018 with 30,000 miles on it. 38 grand, just under 40. December 11th, they're like, hey, yeah, we'll give you a call. They're getting in a brand new STI, 0 miles, like brand new car, 2021,
Mhm.
with literally no miles, never been driven, $39,000. The exact same price as the used one that has 30,000 miles and is 3 years
Yep.
old. So, like, the market is so fucked right now with the scarcity of new vehicles that for a lot of regular cars, specifically these Subarus I'm looking at, a brand new one is the same price as a 3-year-old used one with 30,000 miles. So, it's just a hard market to be in right now when you're looking for a new car.
Um,
Yeah, it's insane.
car. Before we move on, Kyle, just like or like make this kind of the end point, but like you could probably get like a pro bono lawyer that would split the money with you on like a fraud case against that dealership.
I wouldn't be surprised,
Like
honestly.
I think even like you would should probably do it like sooner rather than later because who knows what the
Right.
limitations are on that shit. But like if you can prove that they knew and didn't disclose it to you at the point of sale,
Hmm.
like you might be able to like recoup some of the value of that car.
I could, hopefully.
Obviously, if you'd have to get a lawyer, but like some lawyer might do it like just to. You could even just do it out of spite to the dealership to fuck them and not take any of the money. Let the lawyer
Yeah.
take the winnings. You know what I mean? But
Right.
like, yeah, you have some options. Honestly, like shit, you might. I don't know exactly how it would, like you might be able to just sue
Fuck
them
them.
yourself without a lawyer too.
So
Um,
the only reason I don't really care to go that far is because so the only notion that they ever made to me was that the car was bought back by the dealership in California and they picked it up on auction.
Right.
But the only thing is, they never presented me with any actual written paperwork or information that had the title branding
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah.
So that's the only like gray area where it's like, yeah, I might be able to do something, but basically it's going to come down to two things. One, I'm going to a dealership on Saturday. They offered me with like sight unseen, they offered me for my VIN number and a bunch of pictures of my car, which I sent them all the best pictures I have and my VIN number. And they're sight unseen, they offered me 24K. And I owe like 20K. So I could pocket like $3,500 probably, give or take, and put that towards. They have an STI out there, a WRX STI that's super clean, super nice, but I mean it's like 38, 39K with like 30,000 miles, so it comes down to like what the hell. But like the dude at the dealership I went to today, he said that the WRX that they're getting in on the 11th is the last 2021 STI within a 900-mile radius that will be coming in until the next model year.
Yeah. So we
Holy
have
shit.
a
Yeah, like,
V.
it's crazy.
We have a guy in our company. He's like vice president of vendor relations or whatever. Like he's like a big up in the company, and he's like, obviously we don't deal with cars, but we deal with like honestly, like if you're in any sort of tech, like you feel like your fingers on the pulse for like other tech industries. He said he had a contact that ran like a multi-$1,000 spot car lot in I think New Mexico. Like he had like
Oh
10,000
shit.
spots in this car,
Yeah.
in this car lot. He said he wasn't able to get more than 1,000 cars. Like he was
Uh
always on. He was at like 600 cars, 800 cars. Like his whole lot was empty basically at all times. Right now, he just can't get any cars, used or new, anything.
No one
So
can.
yeah,
So
right,
this dude, the last thing that I'll say about this guy at the Subaru dealership. So I basically had a chat with the sales manager for like the last 30 minutes that I was there because they came to me and they said, "Look, man, like we're sorry, like we can't take your Mustang because basically they don't sell. So if they get vehicles that are any sort of issue with the title, they send them to auction. But
right.
specifically with buyback lemon titles, they do not take them at all because they almost make
Hmm.
nothing on them. He said realistically, my car is only worth about $15,000.
Damn,
So he said like
That
on the
shit's
books,
insane.
oh, it's insane. And like the MSRP of my car was 46, and
that's crazy.
that was in 2015. 46K. It's a GT Premium Performance Pack, so it's like it's the more performance oriented one, full, interior leather, navigation, all that shit, heated and cooled seats, like the best tier option you could get.
Yeah.
46K and some change out the door. Now it's worth 15K because the title, like
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
mind boggling to me.
in my opinion, like you know how I feel about shit like this, but like in my opinion, the sensible thing at this point is like just pay off the Mustang and then keep it as a fun car and like cut
Oh,
your
and I
losses.
agree. Like that's my only thing, and that's why I said it comes down to two things. It's either do that, that's my one option, or option two, if I can get anyone that will give me a little bit more than I have in it, take the money and run. And like that's
Yeah,
what
just
so
get
many
out of it.
dealerships,
Yeah.
yeah, so many dealerships have told me that.
Yeah.
They're like, if anyone's offering you more money for this than you owe, take that shit and get out of there. Like just get
Yeah.
out of the car.
All
So
right.
I
Yeah.
don't know what I'm gonna do.
So Clark, this has come up twice in the chat, and I also wanted to kind of thought it'd be like a good fun podcast exercise or whatever. So,
Yep.
um, two things. So the first thing that was mentioned was not everyone can be their own boss, as in they don't have the mental capacity. And the other thing was you need money to get started in what you're doing. And like, can you basically talk about how you got started budget wise? And like,
Yeah.
how you like you have to make money to make, or you have to have money to make money, so to speak. So like how
Yeah.
you kind of got your lump sum. You can
Mhm.
talk about your parents and their involvement too, but like,
Yep.
and then the thing I was thinking it might be fun, or like if you want to, like the three of us can kind of talk about like where we're at financially,
Yeah.
like and then you can maybe be like, here's what I would recommend. You can do like a coaching session for the viewers or whatever, and be like,
Yeah.
here's what I've seen work or what I think could work based on what I know. So I
Yeah.
guess if you want to talk about, first of all, like not everybody can be their own boss, and also your finances, then we'll go from there, or your
Yeah.
beginning finances.
Yeah. For sure. So as far as not everyone can be their own boss, like I don't disagree. I think anyone, like if they want to or they have a desire to, could. Like I don't think I'm spectacular in any way, shape, or form. Like I don't even think I necessarily work a ton harder than anyone. Like I just get focused for certain periods and I decide like something's going to be my thing I'm going to work on, and that's what I do. And there are tons of people that do a way better job than me. But I agree. Everyone doesn't have the mental capacity. But I
You have
do
to be
think like,
disciplined. Sorry to interrupt, but
yeah,
you have to be disciplined to be your own boss.
yeah,
That's a big
100%.
part of
And
it.
I think like when people think like you're your own boss or like run it or like you working for yourself, people are like think to themselves like, oh, he's on the phone 24 hours a day. He's using all this business lingo I don't understand. There's all this corporate jargon, yada yada yada. That's the case for some people for sure, but like what I don't think a lot of people think
Twitch
about
Prime,
is
thanks for the
they get
sub.
really good at just one thing or like one skill. They build out a business from there, and realistically, they could sell that business after a year, 2 years of doing it, and they're their own boss from then on, doing whatever they're passionate about to try and make money from there on. Like, so
Right.
people think be your own boss, and they think, oh, I have to be buying real estate, doing like big business things. But realistically, if you got really good at one thing, like playing video games, or you got really good like at like a guy I just talked to right before this podcast, he started his own cleaning service, and like he's just a middleman for people who want their house cleaned and cleaners that clean houses. He's got a website that he's the middleman and he makes like a fee or whatever on that. He's like, yeah, the last 3 months I made $100,000. He's like,
Shit.
and realistically, if I wanted to sell this business, like I could sell it for 7 figures. Like, so, and if he sold realistically, if you make 7 figures one time, you know something you don't want to do ever again. If you're just like put it in the most passive investment ever and you're making 7%, like you could and you could be bringing in $70,000 a year or whatever just off of passive
Set.
income.
You don't have
Yeah,
to do
like
anything.
anyone can live off $70,000 if they really just want to do absolutely nothing. So that's kind of my answer on that. I agree, but I also think like people need to take a different approach when they think about stuff like that. And as far as getting money to start, so funny enough, I actually just, not to like plug my own thing, but I just made a YouTube video that literally posted 2 or 3 days ago, and it was like how to make your first $1,000. And like, yes, down the road to like make big money, you need money, but like, for example, I know Gary Vee and like really famous people talk about this. Like, you can literally go on Facebook Marketplace if you or someone you know has a car, or even if like someone doesn't want to let you use your car, you can go on Facebook Marketplace free section. You can literally pick up like dressers, couches. You'd be shocked the stuff that people put on there, and you could be like, "Hey, I'm gonna resell this for $40 if you drive me there and back with your truck. I'll give you 20 of that or whatever." And you do that 5, 10 times. It's gonna be slow, absolutely, but it's going to be way faster than you sitting and doing nothing with $0. Like, because then once you get to $100, like, or like $200, maybe you hit a sneakers raffle and that $200, and that's a lot quicker. Like quicker as in the groundwork. Obviously, sneaker raffles are few and far in between, but stuff like that happens. And something that the next thing I'm going to suggest, you have to be very, very, very wise about this because it could be horrible, but if you plan it appropriately, it's fine. And like I did this and I had a few slip ups, but for the most part, I was completely fine. So like it goes back to the Amazon Prime credit card I was talking about. And like when I was reselling stuff, like you don't have to have that money when you buy that, right? So like you just have to be able to pay it off within 30 days. And the really nice thing about Amazon, and some people might dislike doing this, but like if you buy something on Amazon and it doesn't resell, you can return it anytime within 30 days.
Oh
Amazon
yeah.
will take it back no matter what, every single time, 10 out of 10. And 99% of the time, unless it's a massive item, they're going to pay for the shipping.
Yeah.
So like realistically, there's no reason that anyone, obviously, if you're like 15, you can't open a credit card. But if you're 21, you don't have a ton of money saved up, and you're smart, you keep it on a spreadsheet. You buy a resale item you for $100, and you want to resell it for $150. You do that, you get that money. So now you've got $50 you didn't have, and like you're smart. You go, okay, I bought it on December 1st. I have to sell this before December 20th. And if I don't sell December 20th, I'm going to ship it back to Amazon because I know that I'm not going to get my money back in my account that day. I know that I'm going to ship it back, and then it's going to be 2 days till Amazon gets it, another 2 days till it shows back up on my credit card. So if you're smart about it, you can do that. And that's something I honestly would suggest if you're older, you've managed some money in some capacity, but you just don't have a ton of side disposable income. But again, you have to be super careful about that. The last thing you want to happen is you have no money and now you're credit card debt, which is an atrocious snowball that is hard to get out of. But that
A
is
lot of
one way.
fun.
Then, yeah, lots of fun.
Yeah, I mean,
But like,
all three of us definitely have like debt issues.
yeah,
So whether it's student loan, credit cards, both, we kind of have that issues. But
Hell
even
yeah.
to kind of jump into this though, like even with that, right? Even with credit card debt, like there are actually now, because of like the current economic situation, there are like incredible low interest credit card relief.
yeah,
Like you can balance transfer to a zero MSRP or I mean a zero interest card, like to give yourself 12 months to pay off on your credit card debt. You've
yeah,
got like people who will basically buy your credit card debt, and then you pay them at like a 3% interest compared to the 20% interest on the credit card. So like even like I think a lot of people grew up scared of credit card debt, or just like scared of debt in general. But in today's climate, like as long as you don't actually truly over leverage yourself, where like you're gonna have to
hmm
file for bankruptcy, you can use that as an aid to, and like you can open up a line of credit, like you said, as low as like $1,000 and still find ways to make
yeah,
money if you really wanted to. Um, the other thing I'll like kind of mention to tie into this before we go into like kind of maybe our individual stories or like some stuff.
yep,
But if you've got, let's say you've got a little bit more money than that, like you're in the
yep,
intermediary, like maybe somebody more like me, right? So like I
yeah,
have a full-time
You
job.
don't
I kind
have
of,
any
I can
money.
kind of like, I come into money like once a year when I get profit sharing from my company. So I have like these kind of like this like nest egg of money. I'm
hmm
putting money in my 401k,
Excuse me.
things like that,
I
right?
saw your
But
bank account a couple months
yeah.
if I
ago, dude.
wanted to, like you
I
could,
saw your bank
what?
account a couple months ago.
Yo,
I am
this man
definitely
in this man in the chat says Gears is capping right now. Gears, you're
I
capping.
I
Put the
am
cap on, dog.
I'm definitely frequently cash broke. But I've got no issue with that. Because like I
Gears has
said,
$8
like
right now talking shit.
yeah, right. No, I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying, like, let's say, like,
Mad shit.
I could very easily, like, prop up 10 grand
Oh
if I want.
no.
Let's just say that,
Yeah.
in cash. So that's like, that's like a month. That's a month and a half worth of work, or like, like half a month plus my profit sharing check. I could come up with 10 grand in cash.
Yep.
So
Wait, check
know,
this out. Check this out. I want to just piggyback off that really quick. I just want to ask a question. You don't have to share if you don't want, but like I think it'll be interesting just to see. So it has nothing to do, and like I think it'll be a cool question because it has nothing to do with what our actual income is or anything like that. But I just want to ask this question:
Yep.
What is everyone worth just from their credit? Their credit, like if you added all your credit cards or your one or two credit cards, how much if you had
Ooh,
zero to pay on everything, what is your credit worth? Like how
I'll
much
show
do you
you.
let
max
me
out
look.
at?
I'll give you the number.
What you just gonna add it
I can
together?
look at.
No, I have it on my budgeting app.
Oh, do you really like how much
But
all your credit cards max to?
it has my student loans.
No, so that's not counted. That's
Oh, well
not.
then, like, do you want to see what it is with my student loans?
No, I just want to know like if you were to add the credit from all of your cards. No, this is what I
Oh,
mean.
my total credit limit, you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
what's your
Oh.
credit max? Like not how much
Let
you
me see real
owe,
quick.
not how much
Oh,
you've
I thought you were saying
spent.
your net worth.
No,
Like
not your net worth. Like your
my credit
actual
limits
your
my credit limit's somewhere between like 20 and 25 grand collectively.
okay, 20 and 25. I'm
Yeah.
Hey,
trying to
that
think what
Sperry's not
mine
worth
is. So
3K. That
just from
bitch is torn.
oh no, is it really?
Yeah, it's torn in the bottom.
No. Oh,
I don't know if you can see it on camera,
I
but
don't
oh yeah,
think you
right
can see
there.
it.
See it?
Oh,
Yeah, it's torn, but
Okay.
it's probably still worth $1,000.
Clicks on
to
Google
tear
Maps,
it.
finds nearest bridge.
So Gears,
Yeah.
you said between 20 and
You want to
25K
sell it,
though?
Gears?
Oh yeah, that's the other thing I was gonna say. Like,
You want to sell the Sperry?
just because I'm cash broke a lot. No, I don't ever want to sell this thing. I'd have to be in a really bad spot financially to want to sell that. That
My
thing is like
credit
my
limit
prized
is
art possession.
50,000.
50
Okay.
between all your credit sources.
Yeah, between all my credit cards. Yeah,
All right, I'm
I
trying.
have a decent amount.
Here, I'm gonna add mine together really quick, just so I have a
I think I have
straight
5
answer.
It's
credit
hard for me to
cards.
give us.
$50,400 to be exact.
Well, you have
And
you have that Amex card, Dom.
Yeah,
which
I
is
was
how
going
many
to say
credit
it's hard to
cards
get
do
for
you
me to give
have?
an answer because I have an Amex.
I
I
have.
thought, don't you have a? I thought it was like 20K max though,
On
or
the
some shit like
Amex,
that.
no. Like you basically just ask them
Yeah.
how much. Like you like if you're gonna make a big purchase, you call them and you're like, hey, I'm gonna make this much of a purchase, and they're like, are you sure? And then I'm like, yeah, and then they let you do it.
Really,
Yeah.
that's it. All right, let's
That's
see.
If
here.
you're a good standing customer, which I am, unbelievably.
Yeah, I think I'm like right where you are, Gears. I'm trying to think here. So
Yeah, I think I'm at a total of 25. I mean, I have them all linked, but like
canceled a couple.
I've got like 5 cards. They vary from like 2.5 to like $8,000 credit limit. Those are like my where like I'd actually like to just like go to one card with a high credit
That's
limit
what I
total.
did. I mean, I only have 2 now. I have my
yeah.
Apple Card and my Discover or my Chase. I mean, not Discover.
It's tricky to do that though because of like I've got like these built up rewards on some of these cards. So it's like if I like stop using the card, I have these like rewards that I just kind of like
you'll just
They
never
go
get
away.
to. Like they're just
they're like
right
yeah,
there.
yeah. Like I've
Yeah.
got a card with like half a flight worth of fucking miles on. It's like well I might as well just like use it so I can buy a flight
Just
then be
use
done with it.
that to pay for your bill.
You
can use your points to pay.
want to know
Yeah,
what
you
I
can
did
cash out
recently,
of them,
Gears? That I actually try and not use any. I try and use 0 credit cards now. I have a Coinbase debit card, and I get 4% back in XRM, and I immediately when I get that convert that to Ethereum, Bitcoin, like
That's a debit
That's
card you
whatever I
said?
want. Yeah, it's literally a debit card, and I get
Who is it
so like
open with?
Coinbase.
Oh, sick. Okay. I have a
It's,
Coinbase
yeah,
account, so
and so you can like apply for it in there, and so like it's weird because there's like certain small cap cryptos that you like can get 4% back in, but then you can only get like 2% back in Ethereum and 1% back in Bitcoin. But literally, like I get my 4% back, and I just convert it to Bitcoin or whatever I'm buying, and there's no fee
Right.
to convert it.
Yeah, that's
So
sick.
like, why the hell would I not?
awesome.
Yeah. So okay. So going back to speaking in terms of like an intermit, like this is something that I've learned quickly. That I find interesting. So you can take, you can take $10,000 and put it down on a like as 10% down on like $100,000 fix it up, and then fix that house up and flip the house for. I mean, people are doing. You did it to something like maybe not that cheap, but like you can take $100,000 house and flip it for 150, 175, $200,000, with like, with like consistent like investment, so you might put another 30 grand into it, but you can do that over the course of 6 months or a year and make
Chat
money.
wants to know how long you've had
So
the Coinbase
and you can
card.
do it.
And also why that's a good
What?
idea. Chat wants to know how long you've had the Coinbase card, and also why is that a good idea in the first place?
I've had it actually only 2 months now. The one thing that I will say is like that's annoying about it is like because it's like Coinbase or whatever. I don't know. Like I tried to hook it up to like some of my like subscriptions I have, and it wouldn't let me. Like YouTube TV, pretty much everything else is fine. It's like weird, but and it's a good idea for, at least for me because like I think crypto like is the future at some point. So like. And so, like 4% cash, like let's just say, for example, the Amazon card I have is 5% cash back. You buy something for $100, you get that $5. $5 is going to be worth $5 today. $5 is going to be worth $5 100 years from now, probably, right? Bitcoin, on the other hand, I buy that same exact thing for 4% cash back. So I get my $4. I convert it to to Shiba Inu, for example. Let's just say that's a
Chiba.
thousandth of a cent, and a month from now it goes
to 2,000ths of a cent.
insane, and that $4 could be worth 10 grand. Not likely, and more than likely on the really small stuff, you will lose money. But like I put most of it in like Ethereum, Bitcoin, like Polygon Matic or whatever the hell that one is. Like nothing crazy. Like I have like a very, very small amount in like really, really small cap ones that I'm like maybe 5 years from now I'll wake up and I'll be a millionaire off that. But the majority I put in like the big stable ones.
It's
Were
no
you on a
different
wait
than
list for the Coinbase card? Chat's on a wait list.
Yeah, so it was weird. I was on a wait list and I see a lot of people get on the wait list. Like I found out from TikTok and they're like, yeah, it took 2 months. So like I signed up, I got put on the wait list, and then the next day I got a notification that they shipped my card.
Oh.
damn.
So like I
I
don't
bet
know
you
if
it's
it's
based
that
on
quick
portfolio.
still,
You got a good
but like
portfolio with Coinbase, or do you pull everything to a hardware?
no,
might be an old.
I
Is your
only have
account
10
old
grand
though?
in Coinbase, so like it's
Okay.
nothing
You should
crazy.
very seriously consider getting one of these lads right here.
What is it?
I can't see
Oh,
you
right,
because
sorry.
I'm just
A
in
wallet.
the
It's
thing,
Digital
but
digital
correct.
It's a
wallet.
hardware wallet.
I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Yes.
What is that?
We should talk more about that at
Yeah,
another
So,
point. But
but just to your point, Gary, to kind of elaborate, because it doesn't even just it's not just crypto, right? Like what you're saying is like automated, like thoughtless investment. It's the same exact
yeah,
reason why you take money from your paycheck and put it directly into a 401k, right?
Well,
Even
Yeah.
if you have
it's like what's that app? What's that app, Donley, that you used to talk about?
Acorns.
Oh,
Acorns,
yeah.
yeah,
Acorns.
it's
Yeah,
like
it's just
when
like
you
that.
when you don't have to think about the investment, it just happens. You don't opt out of it. Whereas every time you get a paycheck,
Yeah.
if you have to put that money into your 401k, you're gonna play like game theory with yourself of like, well, can I do it this month or can I do it this week? Like, where do I need
Yep.
that money? What like if you're just like, I take the 8% of my check, it goes to my 401k, boom. It's really no different than making the 4% cash back be an investment compared to like liquid capital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the reason I do it. It's like it's okay. It's already there. I'm not gonna withdraw it from this. Like, because my cash back, like for Amazon or whatever, for example, like I didn't do it so much when I was reselling heavily because like I'd just be like, okay, I get this resell item for free. And then when I go to resell it, I'm just gonna pocket that cash completely. Nowadays, though, like pretty much my Amazon stuff, that like my cash back, like if I have $40 and I'm going to buy something that's $50, I'm like, oh, I'll just use the points here and it'll only be $10. So like there's nothing really calculated about it. It's just kind of accumulating with no purpose, and I use it when I use it. Versus this is like more of a long-term play.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cool. So, all right. So let's just let's start with Donley. Let's talk about Donley, and maybe you can give him like a mini coach sesh about what
I'm
you
good
think.
on that.
No, we're gonna do it. So
Donley, look
Donley,
at Donley's face. He's like, oh my god.
I'm not gonna talk about financials, but Donley,
Like
Donley is
I'm like
currently.
not a businessman, and I'm not gonna listen or do anything that you tell me to do.
All right,
Like,
well, but you don't have to take the advice, but somebody in chat might be able to relate to you, and then they can take it. So,
Yeah.
Donley is currently unemployed, like for now, probably won't be in the next couple of days, but he currently is, but
Yep.
typically works jobs that are either near full time or like a part time job without like benefits. But like doesn't usually the job is like longer days with like free days, right? Because he works
Yeah.
service. He has a really good tangible skill with he's got like great computer skills.
Mhm.
He's got he's got skills with music. He's got the studio that he's in with the computer. He's also got basically he's got time and he's got a
and
skill.
crippling depression.
Yeah.
And so but it's not. Yeah, well, the depression thing, and then like in terms of his current finances, he doesn't exactly like he's got like he could, let's just say he couldn't get like a small startup nest egg if he wanted it, but like he's like currently not exactly super liquid. He doesn't have a lot of capital to start with, but he's got like so like just somebody with like with time and a skill, but they don't want to have a boss for the skill that they have. Like what would your advice be for somebody like that?
Yeah. I mean, so I believe he said he streams pretty often right
Yeah,
now, right?
I stream all
The
the time.
channel's been live like every day for basically a month.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
But we're streaming.
I
I mean,
streamed to 1 or 2 viewers.
he's not having a lot of. He doesn't have a huge social media presence, and he is not having a lot of. He's not getting a lot of traction.
Yeah. So my biggest thing, and I assume honestly, realistically, like just based off I obviously know you get better gears, but based off the limited knowledge for everyone here, like I assume my advice would probably be pretty similar. But like, especially for Donnelly, like I know, like maybe not just him, but like no one wants to hear this, but like you just need to be posting like your stuff on every social media. Like I'm not exaggerating. I will take my one TikTok and I'll take that TikTok and post it to Instagram Reels, and then I'll take that same TikTok and post it to YouTube Shorts, and then I'll make a 5-minute YouTube video about that same exact topic I made the one TikTok about, and then I'll, if it does really well, a month later I'll repost the same exact one on all 3 of them again, because it's like shown that really only 20% of your following sees like each video you post. So like they'll really only see 1 in 5 videos unless they're consistently going to your page. And especially with TikTok, and everyone laughs like when I say it, but like it is insane, like the virality of it and how easy it is, how much you think in your head like, oh, this isn't going to do anything, and it does. Like literally a video, I was talking about this on the podcast I was on earlier. My video that I have that got over 1.1 million views and pushed me to like, gave me 7,000 followers in one night. I literally I was posting 2 videos a day on TikTok, and I filmed it like with this facing camera in my car. I was like, this is just going to be a filler video. I did one take. It was 8 seconds. Like my mouth wasn't even matched up that well. It was a pre-made sound, so I wasn't even saying anything, and I still had my microphone on. So like I didn't think about it at all. And like earlier in the day, I had spent like 15 minutes on a video, and was like, oh, this one's gonna crush it. The video I thought was gonna crush it didn't do shit. I don't even think it has 1,000 views. The 8-second one has 1 million views, and I've probably gotten 400 emails sign ups because of that. And 10 of those people have booked a 30-minute call with me, and 20 people have bought like my $5 like starter course because of that. So like, especially with like gaming and stuff, because like if I don't know, like you go live on here, obviously I don't know what you could do like with your phone, but like I'll see people all the time on TikTok, like they're live and like half the screen is their face, half the screen is the game, and like people love like just like trick shots, dumb shit. Like you put it to like a viral sound, like you splice it up real quick, especially because like if you're streaming for a long time, you could just cut like 10 random clips. They don't even have to be good. Like realistically, they're not going to be good if you're just cutting up 10 random ones and just throw them on there. Like you would be shocked what catches wind there.
Yeah,
But to make
because
a long
especially
story
on
short,
TikTok, the algorithm, like if somebody super famous is playing a game that you're playing, right?
yeah,
There's a good chance that if somebody watches that or is following that person on TikTok, the algorithm will just
yeah,
push them, like it could push nobody content to them.
yeah,
As
And
long as they're
then
playing
like
that same game.
right, yeah,
The
like
game is gonna
well,
link you. It doesn't matter if you're popular or not. It's the
yeah, like I was
content
saying this
that you're
yesterday,
playing.
but you know, I like NBA. I hate sports video games. I don't know why. I've never
yeah,
caught on to the two. Like I know you love Madden. It was never my thing, right? But
yep,
like I'll watch NFL and NBA highlights, and then all of a sudden I'll get 2K and NFL or Madden highlights. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because
hmm,
the algorithm is just like football. Like
yeah,
you know, it'll do that automatically. So yeah, that's like the way that the TikTok algorithm is like designed. So you can kind
yeah,
of like same with you with like the business stuff, right? Like somebody follows somebody
yeah,
who taught like they might just get pushed you because they
yeah,
watch somebody else, right? Yeah.
exactly, yeah. But to make a long story short, and it's not short at all at this point, but basically, like if like I think the main thing that people our age should be doing, if you can, is like working your 9 to 5 or like however you're making your main money point where you can be. I think like house hacking is invaluable for people, like where you go and like whether it's you buy a duplex and you rent out half, or you like get roommates and you live with the room, because like realistically at that point on the low side you're saving yourself $1,000 a month, which automatically right there, if you change nothing else, you've saved $12,000 the next year. You do that for 2 years, you've got $24,000, and then you can put that to whatever you want to decide. And like you said earlier, like maybe Downley doesn't want to be his own boss. Like maybe like someone in the chat doesn't want to be their own boss. But like $12,000 in the year additional to whether it's like he wants to spend on better equipment or he wants to like start doing like paid ads on your guy's Twitch or his Instagram or something like that, like just to test it, like, yo, is it me that sucks or like is it I'm just not pushing it out there? Because like if you start paying for stuff, like you'll get a good barometer that way.
So what about somebody, so on the other side of this, what
Yep.
about somebody like Donley that has like, okay, if you've got a tangible skill, right? So like you
Yep.
can fix computers or you can code or you've got graphic design skills or you can lay flooring or fucking, do
Yep.
electric work, like whatever. You can fix a fucking kitchen sink. Like
Mhm.
for somebody like that, is their best option like start your own platform and try to push it, or is it like just sign up on Fiverr or whatever, like
Yeah.
TaskRabbit, or what's the
Mhm.
avenue for somebody like that where Donley could probably like use that, so to speak, to like, but what do you think his avenues would be if you wanted to do that?
Yeah. I think at the beginning, like, there's no reason you don't do both. Like, whether you're posting like, "Hey, I can code this for you on Fiverr," but I also think like, again, I hate to say it, but like posting like how-to videos on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, all three ideally, and then like this is something that I had never even thought about that someone told me I should be doing, and now like I've recommended to a couple people is like, there's no reason like a carpenter, for example can't rent out a space or he's got like a garage where he does work or whatever, right? He sets up a webcam at the end of his garage, and if he's grown like even a small social media following or he posts in like the local Facebook marketplace group, especially for stuff like that, and it's like, who wants to learn how to make a bench or put down vinyl flooring or something like that, join my 1 hour live class, $10 a seat, you can get 50 people in there. That's $500 you just made in that hour.
Yeah.
Like there's no I think people, me as well. Like people will love that type of shit, and $10 a price tag is nothing. Like if you spend $10 and it's a wasted hour and then you don't actually learn it, it's whatever to those people. But like, and especially once you grow a following and you have actual fans versus just followers, like people will do that every time.
Yeah.
So I'm looking into like doing something for that because I follow a guy who does his like a Turo master, like a master class, and it's like, hey, $20 a seat. I'm gonna present for 30 minutes. It's gonna be a 30-minute Q&A where you have unfiltered access to me. You can ask me any questions I haven't been able to answer to you, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And I think that all starts with posting like how-to videos, like this is how I do this, or this is how I learned to do this, or even if you don't point them to you, you go, I went to creator XYZ, and like you're posting a video, like so the source is you, and then they go to these people, and then they look back at you, and they're like, oh, this guy, like even though he didn't know something, like he was willing to help me out and point me in the direction of someone else. I'm gonna like support this guy.
Right.
But yeah,
Oh yeah, I
I
feel
think
like that's a
social media. Go ahead. Sorry.
no. I was just gonna say I feel like that's a very niche like so from my limited time on TikTok, basically my TikTok has taken over to just be like the car scene.
And titties.
Excuse me, the car
Yep.
scene because I'm very big into cars,
Mhm.
like motorcycles and dirt bikes and
Girls.
fucking
I,
just
I
random
guarantee your
shit.
TikTok's all girls, Charles.
No, it's honestly not. It's honestly not. Like, so what you were saying, like, with like, if you would just, if people like post, like how you're talking about like the carpenter, like I follow some guys, like I see electricians on TikTok all the fucking time, like doing like a fucking duet challenge where it's like, let's see who can wire this fucking outlet faster type shit.
Yeah.
And like
100%.
welders, like really good fucking welders who just throw down fat fucking beads, like just the
Yeah.
craziest shit I've ever seen. Like, and I
Yeah.
think about like if you just had like if anyone has skills like that, like you can go viral so easily nowadays. Like it's honestly crazy. Like I forget I was reading or watching a YouTube video like probably like a year or two ago, and it was like right before TikTok really got big, and it was like how many more stars would there have been back in like the 19, 10s, 20s, 30s, like
Oh
when
yeah,
there was
right.
when there was no social
Oh,
media, because like now it's like anyone who's anyone can just film themselves and go viral being great at something because it's so accessible. But back then,
Yeah.
it's like only the people who like made it to Hollywood and like made it to a high enough level were able to actually expose themselves to like a giant audience. Where now it's
Yeah.
anyone with a fucking phone can be famous. Like look at like all the
Yeah.
TikTok stars we have so far. Like anyone who wants to be famous basically can be if you know the right way to do it, which is just insane. Like even when we were kids, like we're all 26, even when we were like 13, that still wasn't the case. Like it not
No.
until like the
Yeah.
late like 2010s could you really just like go viral and be like Instagram famous or fucking social media famous. Like
Yeah.
that was a pretty recent thing realistically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, any input or thoughts,
I
Domly?
mean, chat says social media is free
Oh,
marketing.
what about the studio? Sorry, what about the studio? And like he's also got musical talent and also has like a
I
professional
don't have
space.
musical talent.
Do you
That's not
think
true.
you have functional musical talent where like you could teach somebody else to play like tabs on a
Yeah, but
guitar?
that's useless. I wish I would never
Is
would
it?
learn tabs. So now I don't know how to actually play guitar, and I've been playing for 20 years.
Okay, but what about the
Told you,
space? Or
darling.
like what about the space or like the do you
The
think
space
that
doesn't
there
matter
would be
because
like a
I'm moving
market?
as a motherfucker. You
No,
Well,
you're
understand?
not.
again, if some like you said,
No,
okay,
you're
but
not.
let's just use we're using Donnelly as an example, but like you were talking about a carpenter, like if you've got a wood shop or like a workshop, is there value in like trying to rent that out to or like let people use it for a cost, or do you think like the digital and virtual like lessons is really the lane to go in?
I think there's some. I don't know how comfortable people are like letting people into their personal space, right? And I don't know
Yeah,
like if there's really like a developed enough platform out there for like a garage sharing like
it'd be like
system, right?
Craigslist or Facebook, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you
which
just
is
have
like could be
to.
sketchy, like so. But I think the digital thing, especially in some, this is something I didn't even mention, like especially like you don't even have to necessarily have a following. Like if you just like post stuff on, there's a fucking train driving by my.
I
But
can't,
if
it's
there's
not picking it up.
okay,
There it is.
like if you just post something on like Etsy, Fiverr, whatever, like this is how you code XYZ, but or like basic coders boot camp, and you just make the video one time for $10. Like realistically, you spent 2 hours doing it, whatever you do. Like that just can make you money forever then, and you never have to touch it again. Like I think there is an insane value in something like that, and like I think it's looked down upon a little bit because everyone, like all of us, have all seen like the Ty Lopez ads where like it's $1,000 course and you'll quit your job tomorrow. But like I think there's real value in a like an affordably priced course that brings true value. And
When you
like
talk about this,
so
I just think of like outdoorsy. Like I think of like how we got the RV. Like I think of all the sites like that where it's just like technically there could be like a specific site for like
Anything.
anything that you actually like anything that has like feasible need and or want. So it's like we
yeah.
rented our RV. I'm pretty sure Gears did through Outdoorsy, right? Or was it a different site you ended up going with?
Yeah, I've used outdoorsy the both times we went out there.
Yeah, so it's like there's literally just people with RVs. I mean, you could think of it. It's like Airbnb.
It's
Like
like Turo, but it's
with
for
you, it's
RVs.
Turo. With you,
Yeah.
it's Turo for cars. For houses, it's
Mhm.
Airbnb. For RVs, it's outdoorsy. Like there's something for everything. And it's like I think there would be like think of it as like a field house. Like you
Yeah.
just go, you rent out the space for a certain amount of time, and like that's how
Yeah.
that field house makes a shit ton of money because there's people that
Yeah.
oh they're like, hey, I want to go play basketball with X amount of people. Where could I
Yeah.
go? Let me hit up this field house and rent that shit out. So it's like if you have the know-how and a space, you can make anything happen in that space that you technically want. Like, yeah,
100%.
if there was like, you know, a big garage, like I think of it this way. I've thought about it a lot. So like me being in the car scene, I'm in like a big group of guys. We all like go out, like just go on drives and like go to car meets and shit and fuck around.
Yeah.
And for a while there was so you know how like trucking companies had these giant warehouses and shit, like just, you know, along the sides of the roads. So
Yeah.
one time, it was right after one was built, and it was before a trucking company actually bought the location. One of the guys in my crew went to and called the number like on the leasing, sheet, and we were seriously considering for a while if all of us went in on the fucking giant warehouse, we could just fucking go there and host car meets there, store our cars there, fucking drift in there, like do whatever we wanted because it was just like an
Yeah.
unlimited open space where you could just drive a car around. So it's just crazy, like all the opportunities. If you really like, you definitely, I feel like, have to think outside of the box sometimes. But if you
Yeah.
do, there's
Not
like
even
unlimited advantage. Like the things you can do, it's unlimited.
not even
Yeah.
really that, but also just it seems like really the big thing is like having a willingness to put yourself out there in a
Right. No,
sense.
100%.
Yeah.
Like,
That's the big thing. You don't even really have to be creative to an extent. Like you just have to be willing to like take the time to like give it a go because it's so low risk, right? So that yeah. Okay, sorry, Donnelly. Now any thoughts?
Am I supposed to have thoughts? I don't know. Like, I thought I was the hypothetical.
Well, it was
Like,
applicable to
it's a
you. You are the hypothetical, but it's also tangible.
yeah, but like
So
it's not because I'm not. I've said it before, like, and I'll say it again. Like, I'm just not gonna do any of that stuff. I'm never gonna download TikTok on my phone ever. I hope it dies soon, like Vine did.
Let me and let me just ask you something, and I don't want to be an ass here, but I kind of have, like, I'm just gonna push this for content's sake, I guess, right?
push
So
the
like,
envelope. Let's go.
what is your goal streaming every day?
I don't have one. Like,
Like, do you want to make it a career? Like, I'm not being an asshole again. I'm
no,
being dead
like,
serious. Like, would you love that to be your career?
kind of, but I don't want to be fake by doing it. And I think everything about TikTok and Instagram is like, how fake can I be on camera for the shortest amount of time? And that's why I like Twitch because
Now,
like
see, I I disagree. I mean, you can keep going, but I'll tell you why I disagree here in a minute. But
that
keep going.
I also
that's why I
disagree.
like Twitch because like people sit on stream for 8 hours and they just sit there and be themselves. Like it's a nice little
Yeah, but a lot of
community.
those like a lot of those Twitch streamers just post not like unedited Twitch highlights to YouTube, to Twitter, to TikTok, to Instagram. Like they use the content that they're making. They like Gary was saying, they just recycle that content. Like, you don't have to do like your own 6 second clip. You can take a 6 second clip of a 2 hour stream, and that could be, or you could take 66 second clips, and that would be where you can make
I
your
don't
money.
know. I think it comes down to the fact that like every day that I get out of bed, I think about like literally killing myself. So I
Oh,
just don't
here we
care.
go.
Like I don't care enough about anything to put that much effort into literally anything. And like I'm not going to. Like I'm anti TikTok and I'm not going to change my ways just to get maybe 5 more followers.
Well, unfortunately, like the only thing I'll say is if so basically it just comes down to however hard or not hard you try to like do something is going to be the end result. So it's like for example, like, and I'm not even trying to say shit here, but like Gears and you have both said like the last couple streams I have fucking popped off and I've been but I've been trying my ass off. Like yesterday before I streamed at night, I posted on my Snapchat like fucking 4 times all day, starting at like 7 a.m. after I got done at the gym. Posted all day, posted on my Facebook story and my Instagram story, and individually hit up a bunch of people saying that I was gonna go live. And I feel like the results, like our analytics, show that I put in an effort to make people come out and pop in the stream. So it's like when you get mad that you're streaming to 0 viewers, get mad at yourself because you put in zero effort to get anyone in to watch a stream. Like it's however much effort you put in is what you're gonna get out. Like that's literally all it is.
Yeah, I mean, you have to market yourself in any capacity ever, right? Like,
In any lane, no matter what you're
yeah,
doing. Like if you
right.
want to be an electrician and get a bunch of jobs, you have to take a lot of jobs. Like it's like people say, it's like if you're trying to do anything, if you're working for yourself, sometimes you're gonna have to take those jobs that you don't want to take. So one day you have an option to not take those jobs. Like you have to build yourself up.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, like you said, even if it's not the streaming thing, it's like if you want to win work, you have to put in the quote, right? Like nobody's gonna just like there's no such thing as a free lunch in Greece, you know. So that's really what it comes down to. But all right, so we are running up on, we're probably at like an hour
Hour
45. I figure
44
like
and
2 hours is probably
seconds.
Yeah, I
perfect.
mean
Yeah, damn, good
bro, it's
mental math.
cooking.
So
Like this shit's solid, bro.
we
Like
got
I'm
like
liking
That was
50
where it's
more
good
going.
gas
minutes.
gears.
Kat, do you want to? Yeah, not bad. I was like doing the whole like Cat being late thing, and then I was like, okay, like
I
doing
wasn't
like the
that
rain.
late. Come on,
Yeah,
it's
but
like
you were
5
late enough for
minutes.
it to be like I knew it wasn't. I knew it hadn't been an hour and a half.
It's
I knew it,
literally
or
5 minutes,
whatever.
bro. I sat down at
Um,
7:34.
so all right. Kat, do you want to do? I knew Donnelly wouldn't talk about himself, so I talked about himself for him. Do you want to talk about anything and maybe like see what Clark has to think? What do you want?
I don't want to I don't want to disappoint, but I really truly believe that I think my advice is probably going to be like
The
maybe
same for all of
marginally
us.
different. Yeah, like I'm just pretty like
Okay, here,
set
wait.
on, I think.
Let's talk about one specific then. Let's talk about one specific
Yep.
because Kyle's in an interesting situation.
What's up?
Kyle is going to inherit the house he's currently living in, like
Hopefully,
basically like right
everything
now.
goes smoothly.
Like he'll just get the house. It's like paid off in cash.
Okay.
I don't know what the house is worth. It doesn't really matter. Like we can just talk about it like it's fairy dust
Say right now,
numbers.
like
But
around 200K.
sure, but it's
Okay.
also. I mean, you'd probably say this, Kyle. Like
What's up?
it's an out of date, um, like house. Like
Not,
it's.
not really. Like not anymore. It might have been the last time you came here, but see,
Oh, have you guys put money into?
so
I haven't been there in like it's been
yeah.
what six
So to
months,
give you
but
like an update, that's what's been really nice. So it's like basically, as far as I know, my grandparents are attempting to move. They want to move to Florida in the foreseeable future, and it's been really nice because like on like throughout like the last probably year or two, they they've been like upgrading the house. So it's like we got new carpet and all new furniture in my family room. That was like a year and a half ago. In our front room, we just did new carpet and new furniture all in there, everything updated. In they redid my entire bathroom, so like the small bathroom. You know, I have the bathroom right by the garage door.
yeah.
They redid that entire bathroom, took out the soffit, did tile everywhere, nice, like just completely updated. And then in the back bathroom, they did tile everywhere, did everything to match the small bathroom. So they just did all that. Now, as far as I know, the next project my grandma wants to do is redo the entire kitchen. So it's like they're just going like room by room, updating everything. And I think basically once they're like done, then they're gonna move and I'll have the house.
Damn. Or they're gonna sell it out from under
Yeah.
you, and then you're gonna be homeless.
Oh, whoa!
I sure
Chill.
wouldn't put all that money in that
That
house
would
for
be
you.
fucked.
Yeah,
That would
but I
be
mean, I
fucked.
guess you'll get the I guess you'll just get the money eventually. So let's just put it that way. So, what do you have any? What do you think about that, Clark? Like he's gonna have this house. He basically has all this like this value in the house. What should
Mhm.
he do?
Yeah. Um. So, do you have any interest in being in like real estate or like businessy things, or not really? Because like go ahead, answer, and then I'll give you another answer.
So I'll just tell you my main goal right now. So
Yeah.
depending on, so it's gonna come down to either I get the house at a nice discount
Yep.
or I get the house for free. So
Okay.
either one of those is still going to be advantageous to me because I'm either going to get the house
Yeah.
for way less than it's worth and be able to sell it for a lot, you know, compared to what I got it for,
Yeah.
or get it for free. And then whenever I decide to sell it, it's going to be 100% profit. So
Okay.
pretty much what I plan to do, depending either way, regardless of however much the house ends up costing me, I would like to live here for, you know, a handful of years
Mhm.
and either upgrade the house even more to up its value before I'm ready to sell, or live here
Mhm.
for a handful of years, sell it, and move on to a less expensive house just to, you know, maximize my profit and money that I can just put in my pocket and go from there.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I honestly, hopefully, plan to be a police officer. No
Okay.
fucking cap because there's way too many fucking bad cops out there and I will fucking be a good one. Fuck anybody who doesn't believe me because that's my fucking goal. So let's get it.
Um,
Nice.
so kind of in tandem with this, I guess. So for people who have real money, right? So like let's just pretend like Kyle has real money. You know, he's got a value of real money, but like let's just say he's got, all of a sudden he comes in at 200 grand, right, or whatever.
He's sick.
Or
Sure.
somebody listening is 45 and they have this lump sum of cash. Like what is the value? And I guess I'm kind of asking a question I know the answer to, and then I can chime in, but I want to hear your thoughts on it too. Is like, what's the value comparison of having a house that's worth 200 grand versus having 200 grand to invest in other things, including another mortgage, like a mortgage for another house?
Yeah.
Did I word that right?
Yeah. I mean, I think what you're saying. So like you could have a $200,000 house realistically, like, and like you paid $15,000 to get in it, right? So like you really don't have 15, you have 10% or whatever of a $200,000 house. Like you go to sell it, right? Like people like think like, oh, I have this house, like it's going to appreciate 5 years. I'll have 100 grand. That's not how it works realistically most of the time. Like, and I think for most people, unless you have a shit ton of capital or you're very familiar already with real estate, like most places are going to, if you're doing long-term rentals, cash flow you on a good property $500 a month, which is not going to make anyone quit their job anytime soon. Right. You need realistically 20 of those to consider quitting your job, probably after you pay taxes and everything and whatnot. I think that people should really start looking into places that they can buy to Airbnb, because an Airbnb, you may be, so let's just say, for example, you buy a place in Florida, it's $1,500 that you pay all in, mortgage insurance, blah, 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 blah. You can maybe get $2,000 rent on it. So that's $500 a month. Airbnb, you could probably charge $100, $150 a night. If you book it out for 20 days, that's $3,000. They take 3%. Let's just even call it $2,500. That's $1,000 profit right there. And I know people that they are clearing not 6 figures. They're clearing 5 figures a month per property on Airbnb in places like Gatlinburg, Tennessee, where they've got like a fat ass house that was $500,000 and it sleeps 20 people, and people come there for bachelor parties and like vacations and everything. And they've got it booked every single day, and they're charging $800 a day because the 20 people are staying there. Split $800, it's $40 a person per night, right?
Yeah, that's decent.
So like if you have Uber money like that, or like a good amount where like you could get a $500,000 house and take a risk, like anything I'm going to suggest is going to be a risk realistically, because anything that's going to make you money is going to have some type of risk, right? I could tell you put your $45,000 in the stock market, and 6 months from now it'll be $48,000, but no one's going to retire that way. You need $1 million to retire doing that. So I think like short term, like rentals in all aspects are great. Like I think even what they were talking about earlier about renting out like a fat ass warehouse and it's just a multi-purpose center. Like I think there's a real market for that coming up, especially like with more people wanting to do stuff like I was talking about. Like someone wants to rent it out one day for a carpenter workshop. TikToker wants to rent it out one day because they're gonna do Mr. Beast Squid Game type shit in there. Like I think that there's a real market going to be for that sooner rather than later, if there's not already. I personally, but I think like stuff like that is short-term rentals is insane. Like it's the same thing with my Tesla Model 3. My one Tesla Model 3 averages $1,500 a month, which is like $800 a month profit. I would need realistically two $200,000 rental properties to be cash flowing that much, and the car costs $40,000 in total.
Yeah. So if you want to get into real estate or like whatever, flipping houses, house hacking, like whatever it is, but you want to make what you were just talking about, right? Like rental properties for like short-term shit.
Yep.
Why would if somebody has money and they say, well, I can only afford one house because I sold my house, now I have to buy one more house. Well, like if you got this money, like you've got this lump sum,
Mhm.
why would you tell somebody buy buy multiple properties or buy properties and invest the rest instead of like using that money to buy another property in cash and then
Mhm.
trying to flip it for more cash like long term? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like if I've
I
got
re-
200
Go
if
ahead.
I've got 200 grand, right? Or
Yep.
let's use an easier number. Let's say if I've got 500 grand, if I come into this
Yep.
500 grand, or I've been saving up my money for 20 years or whatever,
Mhm.
um, I could go out and buy a $500,000 house in cash, and then maybe
Yep.
throw some money into it, and maybe that house becomes worth 600,000 or whatever over time,
Yep.
or it accrues over the 10 years. But like, if I have a $500,000 house, if I want to put 10 or even 20% down on it, put 50 grand, 100 grand down, I could
Yep.
technically buy 5 or 10 more properties with that
Yep.
money. But you don't want to over leverage yourself, or you could
Mhm.
buy 3 of those properties and then take the rest of that money, put it into an investment, right?
Yeah.
So like this that what are mortgage rates right now? Like 3%?
Yeah. Mine was 2.7. Mine was
Yeah, so
3.19 when I bought mine.
sub 3, right? And what's the average annual interest rate on like S&P? It's like 13% or something like that right now.
Yeah.
It's like
Mhm.
you get 13%. So if you're always better taking the mortgage and then letting the rest of that money work as an in because then if it's 13% and 3%, you've got 10% value right there that you're
Yeah.
making every year on your money, and compared to if you just buy this asset in cash and it has this long accrual rate. You know what I mean? So like that
Yeah.
was kind of what I was trying to get at, so to speak, of like if
Yeah.
you've got assets, like don't be afraid to like sell out of that asset and
Mhm.
then use the rest of that money to like for other investments. You know what I mean?
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
when people ask me about like doing Turon right whatnot, so like my car was $44,000. I put down $3,000. And people are like, "Oh, I have $10,000 to put down. Should I just put down 10?" I'm like, "Put down the least amount you can put down." I'm like, if you have to put down something, sure, go ahead, throw five down. Put five down instead of 10 because that's gonna make maybe $100, $150 difference per month on your payment, right? Which is on Turo is one extra day you have to rent the car to cover that. But that's so like so say you're paying $800 if you put down 5,000, you're paying $700 if you put down 10,000. You had to put $5,000 cash. You have to do 50 months of renting that car out to make up like via that $100 like savings you're getting to get that cash on cash return back then. And you could realistically in 1 year, less than that, make that 5,000, make more than $5,000 profit from like that. So for me, and it was like a mindset shift for me is like I'm like keeping as much cash with me possible and using other people's money to pay stuff off, like whether it be via house hacking or Airbnb or touring my car out. I think a lot of people don't think like that. And I grew up like my parents like were like, oh, you pay cash for a car, you put down 25% for your house, which there's nothing wrong with. Like, and my dad makes really good money at his job, so he can do that, and it's worked for him, and he hasn't had to have the entrepreneurial itch necessarily.
Right.
So like that works, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you have a high paying 9 to 5, more power to you. I wish I did. Like I think everyone wishes like they did, and then they could just kind of do as they please. But like I think for people that aren't looking for that avenue, like you want to keep as much cash on you to be able to invest otherwhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're running up on 2 hours here. Um, what are you guys? What are you two idiots laughing at?
Donnelly's just a funny guy, dude.
Oh,
He's
okay.
funny.
Uh, all right. So, so last question, Clark, and then we can, if you have anything else you want to talk about, like we should honestly do this again down the road. Like I think this went really well.
Hell
Um,
yeah, absolutely.
but because
I'd be
I
down.
think it'd be cool to talk, especially on the Turo thing. Like the Turo thing seems to definitely be your like main lane right now, so to speak. About
Mhm.
like maybe some of the more in-depth numbers about how you make money. We didn't really get into that, which I guess I'm not saying it was a bad thing we didn't. I think it has gone really well, but
Yeah.
we should definitely do this again and maybe talk like maybe make the focus of that type of thing.
Yeah.
Um, but regardless, what I was going to say is, so like last question, I guess, and this one will relate more to me, I guess, maybe more than these two guys. And
Yep.
honestly relates to yourself in a sense too, right?
Yeah.
Like if you develop a skill, right, or if you learn an industry, or you kind of have this service, not like a tangible thing, so to speak, like I was talking about with Donley, but
Say
like
right
you're in
again. Say
marketing,
right one more time. Yeah, say right
right?
again. Just keep.
If you're in marketing, and or I'm in like distribution, or I'm in this solar
Right.
industry, um what would you say, what do you, Shane, of course, what would you I was just literally not talking about myself at all, but what
Shane
would you
Taylor,
say, like
shit.
what's a tipping point for, like, I have this 9 to 5, I'm in this industry, or I'm in this lane in my life,
Yep.
where do you decide, like, I'm gonna go solo? You know what I mean? I'm gonna
Yeah.
start my own. I'm gonna start my own thing, my own whatever it is, like my own your own business. Like, when how do you
Yeah.
make the transition from like an employee to a business owner, self-employed business owner, if that's something you want to do, or like where do you
Yeah.
see the value in that, or do you think like just keep working your 9 to 5 and find other avenues to make your money?
Yeah. So I think there's like a couple answers, and I'll make it short because, like you said, it's been 2 hours. But A, which I would not necessarily recommend, I've thought about it, I've contemplated it, but I've never actually done it, is you just say, fuck it. I'm risking it. I'm
I'm
quitting my
out.
I do that
job,
all the time.
and I'm going to make it happen for the
That's
next
the
six
only thing I
months.
do. I work like 6 months. I quit my job for another 6 months.
There you go. So there's A, that. B, you say, fuck it. For the next year, I'm going to work my 9 to 5. I'm going to do what has to be done there. And then when I get home in the morning, afternoon, night, whenever you get home, I'm going to bust my ass at this one thing.
The
And I'm going
side
to see
hustle.
if that one thing can make me a lot of money that could realistically replace that 9 to 5. And like, that's what I'm trying to do this next year with like my YouTube, my TikTok, my courses, yada, 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 is like, I'm just going to see 2023, what was my income? I did it for a year. I busted my ass. Like, I know I did everything I could. What's the result there? And then 3, and I think the third option is if you have a job you like or pays you really, that funds your side hustles. And if your side hustles are a bigger level, like you buy a rental property every year, you buy an Airbnb every year, like those type of investments, banks want to see W-2 income. They don't care if you made $100,000 self-employed this year. They want you to make $100,000 self-employed for 5 years before they want to trust you there. Versus you make $60,000 on W-2, they're like, oh fuck it, this guy's got consistent income. Um,
Yeah,
so I think it really depends on what you want to do. If you want to do something where like you're doing content for a living and it's not a big investment monetarily for you to do that type of stuff, then sure. If you want to say screw it, I'm done, I'm gonna quit my job, or you want to quit your job at some point, yes. But if you have like bigger monetary needs for the endeavors you want to do, you probably want to keep your job for as long as possible there until
right.
like, okay, now I do have those 20 investment properties that bring me in $10,000 a month, and I don't touch them. I pay a landlord, and that figures itself out. So I think that's really the 3 avenues, basically. A, fucking, I'm done. B, I want to be done, but I'm gonna have this money, and I'm gonna kind of test the waters a little bit. C, I'm probably always going to work this 9 to 5 for 15 years versus 5 years of like the middle option.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
how I look at it, at least.
Because I'm thinking, like, I've kind of learned this lane that I'm in, but and I also like, I feel like everybody has circumstances, so it's always easy to say, like, you've got the silver spoon, um, but like I've also got my girlfriend's dad, who's got like, a business model that's kind of set up. He's got the structure there where I could kind of always have like the fuck it parachute if I really wanted to, and like just join up with them. But like, I'd really like to like pursue getting an EC or a GC license, electrical contractor, general contractor license in the state of Florida. And then you can just like basically, like, without getting too in depth, like sell that license to businesses, and they can work
Okay.
under your umbrella without you ever lifting a finger for them. Like, you're literally just a part of the business, but you're like a silent partner, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then and then you also like having that, like, I could like I could do solar installs on the weekends, or on a Saturday I could go
Yeah.
install solar as a cash like job and have somebody pay me for it. So
hmm
yeah, just always kind of like keeping the wheels turning on like what you're doing now can become the next thing you do, or your
Yeah.
side hustle. Like, it doesn't have to be real estate or cars or fucking sneaker
Yeah.
selling or e-commerce, but like you can always kind of relate. Like even Kyle, always wants to do fucking, wants to be a cop. How many cops do private security on the
All of
side?
them.
A fuck ton.
A
Yeah.
ton.
Every
That's a
single
side.
one.
That's a side hustle, and I think a lot of them make better money doing that.
Make bands.
Yeah, especially in
Yeah.
a city like Chicago, work fucking security or private, and
Fuck
like, dude,
yeah.
you can make shitload of them. So there's always something that was kind of what I was trying to allude to.
Bands on
Yeah.
bands.
Cool. Well, we are at 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Sheesh.
I
It's
think
been
this was
fun.
super, super good.
Shit was
Like, there
lit.
weren't any lulls.
Is it?
Also,
This is a
credit.
good episode
Yeah.
back. Fuck.
Yes, credit where credit's due. Last time we were doing this, we had the studio headphones, so we could hear each other talk and hear ourselves
true.
talk.
Yeah.
We did not have those, so I was like really nervous with 4 people that it would like could turn into like a clusterfuck with like too many voices. I don't think it did. Like, I think we did a good job.
Oh, it was well, because we
Yeah.
can all
Yeah.
hear each other in here. Like,
Yeah,
that's
but
what
like
I'm
you,
saying.
when
Like,
you can't
go ahead.
when you can't hear yourself, like if you have if you have noise cancelers on, you can sometimes like not realize that everybody's kind of like talking all at once, and it can become like
I
discombobulated.
gotcha.
But I feel like we did a good job not letting it happen.
I feel like it was
So-
easier. It's almost easier troubleshooting with what we have here than when we were in the studio trying to figure out volume and mic
Yeah.
level. Like, we all each have our own setup. Donnelly can set everything up, and then we can all like listen and adjust our volumes. Like, I don't know. It's almost
I mean,
easier
I'm
this way,
I'm
but
still doing
it is fun
doing
altogether.
adjustments over here.
No, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can sit over there and adjust, but like, instead of us all sitting in the same room and the chat telling us, "Hey, we
Yeah.
can't hear any of you guys," or like this and that, like, it's just better.
So
but yeah,
it
it's
felt
been fun,
super
guys.
good. Felt super good to be back. I don't know
Hell
exactly.
yeah.
There's still some untangibles, like with Donnelly maybe getting a new job, also moving, yada yada. But we're
Right.
gonna try to get this thing going. Kyle doesn't have socials in his like square, but like you got
I
our
will
socials, you
soon.
got the channel.
Most people that are watching probably follow me on Instagram already. Like, I'll link
Follow,
it.
subscribe. I think we're gonna rip this video to YouTube,
Yeah.
right, Dons? So we'll have this video in its full capacity on the YouTube, or on the YouTube channel for the podcast. I also think we're gonna send the rip to Gary, so he can chop it up and edit it however he wants and use the content however
Yeah.
he wants on his side.
Gary
kind
Clark
of as like
coming in clutch,
as
baby.
kind of as a cross promotional thing, but that way he can, anything he said that was poignant that he wants to like use again. So follow him if you're looking for more of this. That's his YouTube, but I think you've got all your socials on the YouTube page.
We got
I'm
like
sure.
10
You
followers
wanna
Yeah,
shout
today
out.
and
yo,
like
plug
5
this man
subs.
Gary right now. What?
Yeah, plug all your
what-
stuff, Gary.
What do you
outside
got
of the
going on
YouTube.
right now, Gary?
I'm on TikTok. Well, everything I have is Clark Gary Biz. So one word, Clark, CLARK, Gary, GARY, Biz, BIZ. That's on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I post 2 videos every day on TikTok. I dedicated to posting 1 full-length video every single day on YouTube for the rest of the year. And then my Instagram is mostly like just repurposing those things. But if you need to ever talk to me, ask me a question, set something up, Instagram's the best place because TikTok you can't DM someone unless I follow you, and I'll get like a request from you on Instagram. So if you have more questions, DM me on Instagram. If you just want to watch the content and support, TikTok and YouTube are the main places there.
Oh
Sweet.
yeah, good shit.
Keep following, keep liking and subscribing. We go live. We've been trying to take the channel live every night. One of us, a couple of us.
Hell
We will be
yeah.
live again tomorrow night. I have no fucking idea how that's going to go, but we're going to do
We don't know
Among Us.
yet. We're gonna try
We're
to
gonna
all
do
play
Among Us. I don't
the
know if
big-ass
we're gonna have
group,
like
so.
10 people with their
No,
videos on and like the
no,
mics.
we're
I don't
not.
have any fucking idea what we're gonna do, or if we're gonna do one person, but like it should be a lot of fun. So we're gonna do that tomorrow night, and then the rest of the week's kind of TBD. But like the channel's gonna probably be live like all the time, so, or every day I should say. So yeah,
Supposed to, if not.
keep
so
in
we'll
touch,
be around.
follow and follow us on socials, and you'll see when we go live.
We
Hell
appreciate
yeah.
everything.
It's been fun.
Thank you again, Clark. Like I said, we will
Yeah.
have do this again. Absolutely. So we'll try to figure out when we want to do that. So and just go from there.
All
For
right.
sure. Appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for coming. I think it's a
Rock on.
wrap.
Yeah, no problem.
Through the
I'll see you
cellar
guys.
door,
Cellar door
baby.
returns. Thank you.
Let's go.
Hell yeah. All right. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.